It feels like an eternity. I am as old as the stars.
Turn your location on. I'll fight a kid.
I'll fight any kid who wants to come into Dapper Dad. I was at a concert one time and I saw people peeing in the sink, and then someone came in and yelled Slayer, and people started pissing everywhere and kicking the trash cans around, and they were going, Slayer! Slayer!
Episode 21.
Welcome
back.
How's it going, everybody? Happy Dapper Day to everybody out there.
The end of the year.
Thank fucking God.
2017, you saucy motherfucker.
You big, fat, awful bitch. If 2017...
I thought it was... We'll get into it. I thought it was actually a good year for me.
It was good it was good in a lot of ways, but it was shitty in a lot of other ways. Like socially, it was terrible. But like personally, emotionally,
crippling,
emotionally, just damaging. I'm pretty. You know how there's all
never gonna come back.
You know how there's all those memes out there right now where it's like, if you play this on 2017, this time. My best one I've seen so far is just if you kill yourself at midnight on New Year's Eve, you can go into 2018 right.
So yeah, it's been a hell of a year. We're going to get deep into it.
Yeah, this is going to be a big, fat end of the year episode for everybody. Yeah. So I hope you are like playing video games or cooking food or something.
I hope you're fucking.
I hope you're fucking and listening to the show.
If you've ever fucked someone listening to this, get at us. Here's a couple ways you can do that. www.thedapperdads.com for everything.
Every single thing that we have.
dapperdadspodcast@gmail.com if you want to shoot us a thing that's like a letter, but it's online. It's new, innovative technology. 402-7-DAPPER. That's 402-732-7737. Text, call, anything. We will put the voicemails in. We will read your text. We got a submission. We're going to save it till next episode. Start the year off right with some submissions, so get those fuckers in.
Yep, you have time.
Yeah, tell us about your 2017, or tell us about your goals for 2018. My goal, we put some things out in the podcast and they end up coming true.
Yeah.
I want to get a new car. Not like a new car,
but like a
newer
vehicle.
car. I got a 98, and you start to think like, oh, that thing's fucking ancient. So I want to get a new car and put it out there. If you guys want to just give me money or a car, we can cut the riffraff and get straight to it. That's my goal. We're also going to do big-ass things with this fucking shit.
I would say that is my goal for 2018.
That's mainly my goal. I won't take the car, but I feel like the car comes with all the accolades we're going to be.
I would say my goal is to have this thing just be popping. I want this to be so successful for us that this is what we're known for. I want this to be our bread and butter, you know?
Yeah. So give us 5-star reviews.
Absolutely.
Tell all of your friends. For the end of the year, show one friend. Make them listen to an episode.
And just so everyone knows, at 100 5-star reviews on iTunes, we will be doing a giveaway for everyone who gave us a 5-star review. It will be an exclusive piece of Dapper Dad's merchandise. It will be one of a kind. There will be nothing else ever made like it ever again, and it will belong to one lucky 5-star reviewer. So the sooner we get these 5-star reviews up, the sooner we can do this contest. The sooner we can have some exclusive merch out there for people. So tell your friends, tell your family if you want them to listen to a questionable show that will make them question your love for them.
Yeah, talk about this at family dinners.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. New Year's Eve, show this to everybody. Show this to everybody. And going into the next year, Valentine's Day, you love somebody, show them the Dapper Dads podcast. Yeah, Martin Luther King Day, you're off of school, listen to the Dapper Dads podcast.
If you start playing one of our episodes at the end of the year, it'll start the next year with the best thing you've ever heard. Any episode. They're all fucking gold.
Literally.
There's two that are bad, but the rest of them are good.
We're not going to tell you which one. Which one? You're going to have to find that out.
Speaking of merch, as you've seen on the last episode, because you watched the YouTube video.
Of course you did, because it was fantastic. See how beautiful that was?
Oh my God. We got some hot-ass merch. We got mugs. Mugs are $13. Shirts are $17.
I am not wearing the shirt today, but I am wearing something incredibly festive if you watch the video.
By the time this comes out, we will have posted some more information. What it looks like we're going to start doing is just taking orders off of PayPal. So we'll put some things out there on Facebook, Instagram, on the website, some more details on how it goes. But basically, just PayPal us some money. If you are adjacent to the Rockford area, we will hand deliver it to save you on some shipping charges. If you are anywhere else in the country, we will get it to you. We'll figure out some shipping details.
Absolutely.
If you're anywhere in the world, I've had to ship things to other countries, and we will not do that yet. But
yet.
please tell us if you are in Poland.
Yes, if you are in Poland, I got some
Only
things I want to
only
send
Poland.
to you by
Poland.
2019.
Yeah, Poland, get to us. But yeah, get at
me,
us.
country of Poland.
The merch, the shirts. I think there was some confusion. We've gotten some things. We're not great at this part yet. We're not.
This
we're
is
not
what
business
happened.
Savvy.
It was
we're
it was a fresh new idea, and we got really excited about it. We got a bunch of pre in our pants. It was measurable in the teaspoons, and now we jumped the gun, and now I can't even get the good dick out. So it's like
happens to the
good
best
dick
of
is
us.
gone, but the merch is out there. It's already happened.
The shirt we currently have is yellow. It is the logo that you look at on iTunes and everything else. The two mouths, the Dapper Dads, the quote that they're not even dads. It's on the mug. So the mug is like the shirt, except the mug has white parts. Shirt is all yellow. That's the first one we're going with. We will be mocking up some new shirts ideas. If you have any suggestions of something you would like to see on a shirt, get at us on any of the submission ones. But yeah, basically just all we need for the shirt is your size. They're all unisex. They run a little bigger, it seems like. They're pretty sturdy shirts.
A little bigger. I took mine and I washed it again when I got home and I put it on, and it still fit about the same. So
they don't shrink too bad. They are like a little, like, they're just like this shirt. It's just a Gildan. If you're into shirts, it's a little heftier so that it lasts a little longer.
Once this gets rolling, maybe we could get into, some fine quality American.
Yeah, it's the thing with the, I'm picky with shirts, like we said, and the color, we can only do the yellow in this one specific brand of shirt. I prefer this brand of shirt. Got a good neck. That's one of my biggest things. Like good tight neck that doesn't stretch out. I have a huge head. It's a big issue. I wear undershirt. I'm very, very particular if you haven't figured it out. So I stand behind the quality of the actual shirts. Like we said, it is digital printing. It's not screen printed. They're still fabulous, but just so everyone knows, they're not the nice screen printing quality. They are soft. It's not like a gross texture.
No, honestly, I've been wearing it around the house, and I've been wearing it under my hoodies when I go to work and stuff. It feels great.
It's good quality shirt. So yeah, get at us on PayPal. Check out Instagram, Facebook, and the actual website, and we'll have some more details. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot us an email, text us, whatever you want to do, and we can work it out.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's confusing. We jumped the gun, but we got it for you, and the shirts are great. The mugs are fucking fantastic.
And who doesn't like drinking vodka and coffee out of a Dapper Dad's mug? Because that's
if you're trying to live that Dapper Dad life, we've already been over it. You got to drink alcohol
out of a coffee mug. Yeah, that's just the way to go.
That's the only option.
The absolute only way to go.
A story I wanted to get off right off the bat. Last week after we recorded episode 20, we hit the town running. It was quite an experience.
It was.
We ended up at CJ's and then Prairie Street. CJ's was wild. Shout out to whoever fucking Christmas party was going on.
It was because the last time we had gone to CJ's with Matt the God, it was like there was
4 other people.
Yeah, there was like 4 other human beings in there. I saw one of my friends show up at one point, but like there was nothing really going on. That's why we ended up going to Mary's. Yeah,
it's typically.
But it was quite busy this time. There was
when you pull in that parking lot and you see that many cars, it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and we went in there and there was a bunch of music. Not the best music. I wish we could have put some Future on the jukebox.
Off
the top, but then it kind of got into
and they played Kanye. What was it? Famous?
Yeah, they did play Famous.
Like started while an old man was trying to give the bartender $5.
Yeah, and like she was like, and she was ignoring.
He wanted to like give it directly to her, like a fucking card or
Interesting.
Something. Yeah, and I think I seen him get kicked out.
Sounds about right.
But yeah, shout out to whatever work party that was.
Yeah, if you were at CJ's when we were there and you saw the 2 guys just kind of hanging out at that table looking uncomfortable and surly, that was us.
I can't go to bars that are that popping without drinking prior.
I mean, I just got to know like what's going on.
Yeah,
like if you tell me it's like Christmas party, I know what attitude to go in there with.
I thought about stealing a coat because it was tucked into our table.
Yeah, but
then when I see things, I'm like, just take it.
Yeah.
I got to get over my past and be like, don't just take a coat.
No, man, you don't get over your past. You live above your past. You take you take what you got and you learn to live with it. You don't get over it.
True.
You are who you are. You've been who you've been since you were like 13 years old.
Don't do this to me.
You've just added experiences on top of it.
They're all bad.
Yeah. Same.
So yeah, it wasn't too wild of a night. We will be having a wild day today, which we'll touch on in a minute.
Is going to be nuts.
But then on the way home, I was driving. I take some back roads to get to my house, and the first thing before any of the fuckery was it's like a highway I'm on.
Yeah.
So there's like 2 lanes on both sides. And I was driving. I was the only car on my side. It was like 11. And a car was coming, and I was like, that looks weird. It looked weird because they were driving in head-on towards me. On, like I said, there's a divided
This
highway.
almost had to be a memorial episode.
Yeah, a divided highway, and then they're coming, and then they get in the other lane, and I'm like honking and flashing my light. Like, how do you not know? And then I assumed if I was in that predicament, I've turned into the wrong part of the highway and somewhere I don't know. I usually back up or turn around and fix it. They just kept going, and there was a bunch of cars coming. So shout out to that person. I hope you made it, and you didn't immediately correct it. It seemed like you didn't think you were doing anything wrong at all. And it made me think, am I in the wrong side of the road?
Like planes, trains, and automobiles. You're on the road. Hey, buddy, you're driving down the wrong side of the road. Yeah, he'll figure it out eventually.
And we're both doing 60, so I couldn't be like, I was doing everything I could frantically.
There's a really shitty joke I knew when I was a kid. I think I heard it from my dad. It was this guy comes home from work. And his wife goes, "Oh, God, honey, I am so glad you're safe. I was just watching the news. There's a story about this maniac going 100 miles an hour down the wrong lane of the highway just hitting people." And he goes, "Yeah, they're everywhere today."
Wow. Great joke. So, yeah, then I was like, wow, that was a crazy story I'll have to mention to people. And then on my way home down a little bit, about halfway to my commute home, I turned onto a back road, and I'm driving, and it's like farmlands, like nothing.
Yeah.
And I see something like cross the road. I thought it was like a cat or a possum.
I've seen a jackalope.
I've seen a lot of. It was a chupacabra.
It was a jackrabbit with a man's face.
It was Spring Hill Jack.
It was Jack the Ripper.
It was Jack the Ripper. I finally found him. He's like, yeah, I murdered all those women in the 1800s.
Been hanging out in ever since.
Well, now I have to bleep that out. So then
whatever. We say Rockford all the time.
Yeah, Rockford is fine.
That's where I live.
Yeah, but it's a big city.
So is yours.
This is too much details. So a car's coming and it almost hit it. And then I was like worried. And then when I get a little bit further, I realized it's a dog. So I'm like, oh, shit. And
was it Lawyer Dog?
It wasn't Lawyer. If it was Lawyer Dog, he had taken the suit off, at least. I can't be sure.
Lawyer Dog.
You're supposed to be on retainer. We might need you at any moment.
It was Lawyer Dog after he lost his 10th case in a row and he went on a bender. His
wife left him and took the kids, and he's just running around fields. Like,
eating a bunch of kit and caboodle, shitty dog food, drinking tap water. And,
drinking mud.
Rolling around in the mud and running around with a bunch of wild dogs that he used to hang out with before he became Lawyer Dog.
And they're all like, he's back.
Yeah, not Lawyer Dog is back. He's just, yeah, I'm back, boys, rolling around in some roadkill, just.
So I turn around because I'm like, I can't. It was cold outside. It's 11:30 at this point. I can't just let that dog be out there. And I've had this happen before where I'll pull over and I'll try to call the dog, and they usually take off. So I assume that would be what it was. So I pull over and I open my door and I'm like, come here. And it runs and jumps in my car.
Okay.
And this is when I'm like, oh, I don't have an end goal here. I don't know what to do now. I just don't want the dog to get hit.
Call the dog. Get the dog. That's the goal.
I didn't even think the dog would come. I just needed to do something to make myself better. So it jumps in my car, and then I'm like, huh, I have this dog in my car now. So I'm trying to figure things out. I am not going to a farmhouse at 11:30 at night the way I look. I'd rather go into a big city and be dropped off somewhere and have to go to someone's house. And a fucking farm, they have guns. Yeah. And I feel like they're immediately going to be like, get the fuck off my property.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not going to go up to anyone's door. And it's one of those places where they're like, here's a house. And then a mile away, here's another house. And there's just not a lot of options. And I had an idea of where it came from based off where it was. So I'm sitting there trying to figure this out. And then a car pulls up. And I'm like, oh shit, maybe it's the dog. So I roll the window down. They stop. And they're like, did you lose a pit bull? And I'm like, no, I just found this dog. And he's like, there's a pit bull down the road too, right in the middle of the road. And I was like, fuck. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I can't leave this dog out here. But it jumped in my car. And he's like, shit, man, I don't know. It's the fucking country. I don't know. He was basically like me. You could tell he wanted to help, but he's like
he just didn't know what his level of involvement
no option.
Should be. Yeah.
But he was like, yeah, there's another one. And I was like, well, I guess I get the other one. And he's like, all right, good luck. And drove away. So then I turn around and I'm driving down the street and I'm like, I can't find this pit bull. And then way down, I see eyes just in the middle of the road, just sitting there. And I'm like, oh, fuck. So I pull over. And then I'm like, what if these dogs don't know each other? And then it's going to be a cartoon, tussle in my car.
Just a cloud of dust with paws and an ear sticking out.
So I park the dog's in my passenger seat, dog number 1. The pit bull comes up and jumps on my door and looks me in the face through my window and looks so happy.
And you sent me pictures of that dog. That was a big dog.
Big pit bull. So I open the door. pit bull jumps in. Number 1 jumps out and is in the street. So I'm just standing in the middle of this dark country road, and I'm like, everybody get in the car. And then the first dog gets back in. He immediately, or I guess they're both girls. The first one gets in the passenger seat, just curled up, ready to go. Pit bull sits right behind me looking out the window. And I'm just like, I guess I take them home because I don't have it.
They were ready to go.
Now I
home.
have 2 dogs. I thought I was, and I could hear another dog barking.
I love everything about this story. Like, this couldn't have happened to anyone else.
I wish there was a video because I'm just like, oh, a dog. All right, it's in my car. Now I have 2 dogs. I hear a third dog in the distance. I'm like, 3 dogs. And I get home and I have 19 dogs.
What if they were all
clown car of dogs.
They're all lawyer dogs friends. They're like, hey, we heard you know lawyer dog.
So, yeah, I have these 2 dogs, and I'm like, I guess I take them home. Like, I don't know what else to do. And I still live, like, 20, 25 minutes away. Like, I don't live right there. I don't know what else to do. So they're, like, perfect in the car. I was, like, using my phone to listen to music. I'm calling people. I'm unplugging the phone. I'm, like, waiting to smoke a cigarette. I smoke a cigarette at the same point. It's about my halfway point. Every time I drive home, I just smoke a cigarette there. I was like, I can't smoke with these dogs in the car. And then we're, like, listening to fucking Playboy Cardi, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on, guys, but you're coming home with me. And I have a dog, so I'm like, I don't even know where these 2 dogs go. So I get home and get them in the backyard. Right before I get them home, the pit bull is like whining, and I'm like, I don't know.
Like, I'm sorry.
I know. I feel like it realized, like, oh, we had in a car, and we've
been going for a while.
Yeah. So I get them in the backyard, and we're like trying to figure shit out, and they're nice, but still cold outside. But then my dog, we have like big windows on the back of the house where you can look, and I have a bigger backyard, and my dog is just sitting in the window staring at me. Like, I felt like I was cheating. It's like
betrayal.
in the movies where the guy cheats on his girlfriend, then it pans over to the window, and she's just staring in the window. That's how I felt about my dog. Okay. And they're making noises because they can sense each other.
Right.
And so, long story short, we get in touch with the sheriff, who finds that the dog had been reported missing. So we get their number, get in touch with them. The lady's like, thank God, I'll come get him right away. And then it ended up being one of those things where you're like, man, they're going to be so grateful. And then she kind of seemed like not super grateful.
Like mad that you took the
dog.
dog.
Not mad at all, like very happy. But I just want, like, if my dog got lost and someone randomly picked it up and took it, I would be like, I cannot repay you. Because I assume, like, anytime, like, my dog got out recently, because I feel like someone opened my fucking gate. And if I figure out who it is, I will beat the shit out of you. Even if you're my 80-year-old neighbor, I don't give a fuck. And, like, every time, like, where I grew up when I had dogs, like, we lived on a very busy street. So if an animal gets out of my house, I assume they die. Like, I just think if they're going to get hit by a car.
Yeah.
Like, my dog's not like that. It's not going to come right back. Luckily, my dog was in the neighbor's yard and ran towards me, and I thought she was going to outrun me and just run towards the street. But I, like, grabbed her, and I was like, motherfucker. So, yeah, I would be, like, pouring my heart out. And the lady was very happy. The pit bull, when I picked it up and I turned the light on my car to take a picture of it, its face was all fucked up, so I was worried someone had just abandoned it.
Yeah.
But she said that it found a possum in a dead tree, and it stuck its face in there, and the possum won the fight. But they said that they have like 25 acres, so they just let the dogs out. And then they had people over, and someone left the door open, and they managed to get out, and she didn't notice. But the dogs, she reported them missing at 4, and I got them at 11:30. So they've had quite the day.
Yeah.
And, like, I'd been giving them snacks and shit. But she was nice. It's one of those things where I'm like, I feel like I did a really nice thing. And I would I want you to just gush about it. Like, oh my God, you're the greatest person.
Well, because, like, I remember when my cat got out, like, earlier this year, like, he was gone for 2 days. And, like, man, I had posters up. We were looking around the whole neighborhood, like everything for this cat, and he finally came home, and like I was so happy, and like I was like overjoyed. And if someone like came to my door and was like, you know, and like had my cat, I would be like, come in, let me feed you. I don't have any money. Can I give you some video games?
Yeah, but the one of the best parts, like the pit bull, I cannot underestimate it. Like my dog is pit bull, normal large size dog. This thing was fucking huge. At one point I like got on the ground and like it came over to me and it like kind of jumped up on me and it smashed me to the ground and then was sticking its tongue in my mouth and I felt assault. It was so strong.
That's like, what assault feels like.
It had the clipped ears and it was just huge. So then she sends a text message saying that they got home safe with the dogs, and the pit bull is curled up in a baby seat. I'll put the picture in the video because I have it, and it's the cutest thing, and it's like towering over the baby seat because it's a massive dog. But then that made me a little bit happier. So yeah, that was my my good duty. I was up until like 1:30 just trying to get those dogs back, so it was quite an ordeal. But I felt good. You can't just let, like, those dogs would either frozen or like that car almost hit it. Like, I can't imagine just like seeing a dog running in the street. Like, every time I've been able to see a dog running in the street, I like stop and try. Most of the time they just take off. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I tried and I hope I didn't like make it worse, and then they run into traffic or something. But you just, I like a person, I can be like, fuck them, they probably shitty.
Right,
A dog,
yeah.
I'm like,
It's
they
like,
don't
they
know.
don't- yeah, they're
It's
just
so
out
cold,
running,
They're
yeah.
running. The cars, like, people do like 80 down that road. Like, there's not gonna be a chance. So
No.
good guy drama. Save 2 dogs.
I remember when I was a kid, we were kind of out in the country a little bit, and we like would put our dogs outside in the back. We had 3 dogs growing up. We had a Shepherd Collie mix and 2 pugs, and so we would let them go outside. And one day I went to the back door, and there was just a Dalmatian there, just standing at the back door, just looking at me, and I'm like, huh.
Guess we got 4 dogs.
Guess we got 4 dogs now. And so, like, we brought him in and stuff, and, like, the dogs were like, there's a big, because it was a big Dalmatian, too, because
Yeah.
they're kind of big dogs. Like, you look at 101 Dalmatians, and you're like, they're not that big.
They're the most aggressive dogs. Actually.
Dalmatians?
So, yeah.
Really?
So shut up about pit bulls, because I found one in the street, and
That
it
was
was
huge,
so loving,
and it was
my
sweet.
pit
It just
is
came up to your car
beautiful.
and was like, hi,
Yeah, it was-
I ain't seen anybody
It
out
was
here in a while.
nicer and like more interactive and friendly than, I think it was a border collie was the other dog, like
Yeah.
a medium-sized one. It was nicer than that. Yeah, Dalmatians are like the most aggressive dogs.
This one was thankfully very nice then,
Yeah.
because I did not know that. But yeah, it was very nice, and we had it like overnight. It just we just gave it food, and then it was like the summertime, so we put it out outside on a leash, and it was just gone the next morning. So I assume the owner was just like driving down the road and saw it, was like, that's my dog, and like came up and unhooked it. But I hope that's what it was, and some crazy person wasn't like, free Dalmatian, and like came and took it.
That's what I hate too, and because I was like, I hope this lady isn't just very irresponsible with her dog. 'Cause
When
that
you think
upsets
about
me.
it, dogs are kind of, it's kind of funny how we are with dogs, because like I have so many stories like in my own life of friends rescuing dogs that are lost. Like I had a friend rescue one out in New Milford one time, and then I had another one, it was a friend they just found. It was like this little Yorkie running around over well, I don't want to say where it is in Rockford, because then I'll give away my friend's house. But they found like a little Yorkie running around like in the spring one time, just like covered in mud.
Yeah.
And it's like, because you know what these dogs think. They're just in the house all day, and they're looking outside,
They're
and they're
going
like,
crazy.
man, that shit looks fun.
Yeah.
And so the second they get outside, they just bolt, because they're looking out that front window all day, and they see that bush over there, and they see the squirrels that are always running up that tree, and they see the yard all the way back there, and they just want to check it all out, you know?
Yeah.
The Shepherd Collie mix we had growing up, he would run away constantly, and he was an asshole about it, because this dog was so fast. This dog would have flourished if we had like the lady did, like 25 acres, because he just loved to run and run and run. I would have to get on my bike to chase this dog. That's how fast he could run.
Yeah.
And what he would do is he would run and he'd run and he'd run. And it was worse if he was downhill, because he'd pick up momentum to then go up the hill.
Yep.
And you're trying to like pedal your bike up the hill like a fat piece of shit that you are. Because I was sitting there playing Alien vs Predator 2 on the PC for like 6 hours before the dog got out, drinking Mountain Dew and eating Doritos. And so I'm like, oh fuck, now I gotta get on a bike uphill in the summer.
I don't even want a dog this bad.
Is he worth it? And every time, because he would come back, because like there's times where we would have him outside, and he was so like, I want to get out so bad, he would pull the spike out of the ground. He would dig up the spike and then run away with like the spike dragging around. And then neighbors would call me, and they'd be like, yeah, I saw Cubby running down the road with that spike making sparks down the road, so he's going pretty fast. And I'm like, damn. And my mom would be like, you have to go get him, because she couldn't get in her car and drive and go find him. I had to get it on my bike and go find him. And God, what he would do is he would wait from like, okay, for reference, like where that TV is right there, from like us to the TV, he would wait till you were right there.
It's about the dungeon.
It's not like people can't see it in the. You don't know where we are.
Yeah, you don't know what's behind us.
Nah. And he would wait till you were like right there. I'd jump off the bike and start running towards him. He'd lay down, and then when I'd go to grab him, he'd get up and he'd run again. Like it was a game for him. He thought it was so much fun. And then he would get like 5 miles away from home. And then he would lay down, and you'd grab me. You'd be like, okay, because he'd finally be like out of breath and so happy. You could just tell he was so happy. And then he would lay there, and he would not walk back. You would have to pick him up and carry him. So I'm walking with a bike with a dog over my shoulder for miles at a time as a child.
Oh God!
Because this was before cell phones.
Oh yeah.
So I couldn't like.
This was before cell phones. We are ancient people.
We are old
I've
people.
been on this earth forever.
It feels like an eternity. I am as old as the stars. The only thing more ancient than me is time. That's how fucking old I feel and stressed out I am. I feel like the cosmos ain't got shit on my nihilistic pain and suffering. And that whole thing I did right there was better than anything on Eminem's new album.
Ooh, shots fired.
Pew, pew, pew.
Speaking of rap, should we get into? We were gifted.
Yes, we were gifted by someone who I would like to tell this quick story. At first said when we presented the gift on the show, we could use their full government name. Okay. At which point, I very solemnly looked them in the face and I said, I want you to think about the ramifications of that.
Don't ever do that.
Because
don't sign yourself up for those.
Because we don't even use our full government names on the show.
We don't even use our first names.
We don't even
give you a name.
No. We bleep out our names.
Yeah, specifically.
So for anyone who's on here thinking, I don't care if my name is out on the Dapper Dad show, I want you to really think about what that means before you do it. But I was told I could use nicknames or anything like that to give shout outs. So Lemily, thank you very much. That's what your goddamn name tag says, so that's what you get. Thank you very much for the gift of wrap snacks.
Wrap snacks, wavy
yes,
version.
This is a flavor we have not had.
Lil Boozy's Louisiana Heat wavy potato chips.
Good old Lil Boozy.
This is a very, I didn't know they made wavy chips.
No, I'm pretty excited about trying this one. A new style and flavor.
You want to read the back?
Yes, because I love this quote on the back. It's got him grabbing his flat bill like this for the video for reference. He says, "Sometimes you need those bad days because it helps you truly appreciate the good ones." And that is some damn good advice,
Thank
Boozy.
you, Lil Boozy. That's what you get for being in prison for years.
Hey, man.
With everyone shouting free Boozy, and then once you come out, nobody cares.
Yeah. I mean, the same thing's going to happen to Schmurdobbs.
Yeah.
You know
free
what?
Bobby.
I wake up every morning and I tell people good schmorning every day.
And no one cares.
Yeah, no one gives a shit.
I don't think I like these ones.
I do.
They're just weird.
They just taste like ooh, there it is.
Yeah, I was gonna say it comes on.
Oh, that's
heat
good.
comes in. It's not like a flavorful heat.
It is and it isn't.
Yeah.
It kind of tastes like
It's my problem with a lot of hot things, like hot sauces in general. I'm good. I really don't like them. Sorry. Thanks for the gift. I hate it.
Hey man, I love it. So thanks, Lemily.
Yeah.
They're really good.
They'll go to Slim's thighs. But yeah, how many fucking wrap snacks exist? Thought we were done. All right, you can stop eating them.
This is gonna be the last
on the
handful.
mic.
They're so good.
Jesus Christ. I fucking hate you. You're so close to being fired. I think 2018 we're gonna reform Everyday Struggle. You're Joe Budden. Shout out Uncle Joe, you fucking idiot.
Fuck you, Uncle Joe, you piece of shit.
Yeah, don't obstruct the Dapper Dad's mug, available now for $13.
We can't. Man, we're like an Amazon tablet at this point, just putting the advertisements on the lock screen.
Oh, I wish.
Ah, good Lord. Man, what else has been happening in 2017?
I have a story that I've been waiting to tell since before.
Yeah, let's hear it.
When we sat down to figure out this whole shit show, we had an official meeting. I don't think people realize, like, we actually went out and had a nice sit down meeting.
A little bit of a backstory for you. We
hadn't talked in 6 years.
No, we hadn't really hung out since the summer before, but that summer we had talked about doing a podcast. It had been brought up. It was like, you were like, "Hey, we should do this."
Yeah, I thought about doing it, and you were literally the first person who came to mind because you're just like the only person handsome enough for me to sit across from and like really take it in all the time.
I actually had someone tell me this week, they were like, "Yeah, me and my buddies play Xbox Live and we listen to your podcast."
Nice. Shout out you guys.
And I told them
Shout out those 12-year-olds on Xbox Live saying things that would get them faded in the real world.
Absolutely faded. Come catch these hands, 12-year-old fighting me on World War II.
Turn your location on. I'll fight a kid.
I'll fight any kid who wants to come into Dapper Dad. Put that in the pre. But no, he told
can't make requests that are too inside baseball.
Sure, I can. I run part of the show. I can absolutely.
Oh, you
make
run?
request.
Really?
I
run?
I co-host.
You should know your place. I edit. I'll edit you out.
But he told me he really loves the show and they love listening to it. And I told him that you are the only other human being I could do this with, because I cannot think of another person where I can consistently sit there and just go on and go on and go on and joke after joke.
I get a lot of people who ask me how we do it, and I feel like it's literally just because it's us. Like,
Yeah,
I don't have another person. There's not like a lot of lulls in the conversation, because even outside of this, when we go out to the bar and can actually hear each other, it's just the same shit. It's literally like, that's why when I thought of it, I was like, you'd be the perfect person because the references and just stupid shit that comes out of our mouth. So yeah, it'd been like a year in the making. And I think neither of us were in the place. I couldn't afford the equipment. We
Yeah.
were real down in the dumps.
Yeah,
back
we were
then.
back in the
That
struggle
would have
back
been
then.
dark episodes.
Oh man, can
I
you
don't think it
imagine?
would have
Okay,
had the same magic.
imagine a year ago doing this shit. Like imagine last Christmas being on episode 21. What would you think? Oh man, yeah, that
would have been bad, but
yeah.
my last year was all right. But yeah, imagine like when we first met each other. If we would have started doing this, we would have had like a lot of episodes in the tank. But God, were we living like shit?
Man, we were living so
my car didn't
shitty
have
back then.
heat, and it also didn't really drive too much. But it really didn't have heat. I used to have to scrape the inside of my windows with the windows down in the dead of winter and try not to breathe too much so I could
So it wouldn't
see
fog up the
how
windows.
to get to work. And I was like, I'm going to kill someone. Like, I'm going to kill someone.
I remember I didn't even have a car back then. My girlfriend and I at the time were sharing a car, and we were so broke that we had a donut on that car for 7 months.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah, I had a donut on that Neon we used to sit in.
Yep.
That Neon died at a four-way stop, and I was trying to get it started. There was a long line of traffic. I caused another car accident because people were trying to speed around me, and then the car finally started, so I just ran the red light and got it home, and it died forever.
Do you remember the Jeep I had after me and her broke up? I remember when it broke down right over there by was that the Jefferson Street Bridge right there? It broke down right by the Jefferson Street Bridge, and I called you, and I was like, hey, can you come pick me up and take me home? Because where it broke down was probably like 5-10 minutes away from work. And I remember I was driving, and what it ended up being was the alternator was going out. And so I remember driving, and I can never listen to this song again because of this.
Was it Two Phones by Kevin Gates?
No, it was the Diamonds remix with Kanye West on it, where he's like, maxing, relaxing, shooting some pool, and everybody relaxing outside of the Louvre.
Yeah, it's not the Fresh Prince theme song.
No, it's not.
Which was what I was listening on the way to get you.
Well, I was listening to that, and what happened was I was driving, and then like my interior lights died, and there was like no radio lights, but the radio was still playing, and it's like maxing, relaxing, shooting some pool, and I'm driving, I'm like, oh fuck, this isn't good. And like I'm driving, and I'm having to like push harder on the gas to like keep it accelerating, and so like the inside lights go out, and I'm like, oh shit, and then the radio goes out, and I'm like, oh shit, and so I'm like sitting at the stop, and the car's like woo, and I'm like, turn green, because
I've had so many times in my life where I was like, this light has to turn green, or this car
I know, I was like, I just have to get across the bridge, and then I can park in front of the apartment, and it can die. I'll figure it out from there. But I was sitting there at that stoplight, and it was like, and then the headlights went out as I was going around that weird turn that's right there, and like cars were like flashing at me, and it's like, I can't,
there's
I know there's no other option. And so it goes like,
cell phone light.
It goes like, and it just died, and I was like, motherfucker. And so there was some dude walking, he's like, hey man, you need help? I was like, yeah. So we just put it in neutral and pushed it over to that parking lot, and I was like, hey drama, can you come pick me up? And you just showed up in your usual well.
Yeah, because I was at work, and I was like, yeah, I get off in like 10 minutes, I'll come get you. And then you're just like standing disheveled outside your car on like Church Street.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was at those apartments on Church Street, and I had to leave a note that said like, dead, we'll come back in 2 days, promise.
Yeah, that was a good time.
A good imagine us doing the podcast back then. Like imagine just do it.
It was just
it'd
bad,
be unreal.
Man. That was
unreal.
a bad time,
man.
So life's looking up. But yeah, anyway, back to the
it got dark there for a second.
Yeah.
Woo.
We gotta let you know, guys. We've had a life.
Yeah, we came from the struggle, man. We haven't always been this fun and dapper.
No. But yeah, earlier this year we sat down and we're discussing how this was gonna be, and like just
it's CJ's.
No, we were at 501 Vintage 501.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, we had a nice meal, and we talked a lot.
It was good.
And yeah. It was a good time, and we there was one story specifically that it wasn't even fairly recent at that point, but it's just been in my mind. It's probably one of my favorite memories of this whole goddamn year. It happened, I think it was February. I'm gonna leave out the name. I think I was told I could use the name, but I think they might regret it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in Madison. It was me, Matt the God, Bug, my buddy Bug, and then another unnamed party.
I know who it is.
Yeah. So we all went up to see Prof. Shout out Prof. It keeps coming up because it's so fucking good. Go listen to
Which
Prof.
we are going to in February.
Yes, about every February he makes a trip to Madison. It's a great time because we just get crazy. He's doing a thing this year where he's playing Friday. I believe it's February 26th or whatever that Friday would be. And then the next day he's staying in Madison just to party.
Yeah.
So I think we're just having a weekend.
Well, I did take that
Prof.
whole weekend
Did you?
off.
Okay,
Yeah, I did.
that's what we got to work out the details. But I'm like, we can't miss the second day of just partying.
I just want you to know I have everything off that we're planning to go to so far this year. I have Thursday the 4th off, so we can go to Pew. So if you're gonna be in Chicago January 4th,
Thursday, January 4th in Chicago at Quencher's Saloon is a band called Pew Pew Pew. We will get into it when we discuss these albums.
But the Dapper Dads will be there.
And their show, that's going to be a wild.
So if you
I
were
might
gonna
be most excited for that.
So
honestly.
come party with us in Chicago. Tickets are only $10 hot dollars.
$10 hot dollars, 13 if you buy them online with service fees and getting the ticket, which I'm a fan of because I like to collect tickets.
Mm-hmm.
So $10, whatever. Come see it. 4 bands. I don't know the other 3, but Pew Pew Pew. I'm gonna gush real.
It's gonna be
hard
crazy good. We're gonna mosh. We're gonna move.
Yeah,
it's gonna be good.
We'll discuss them. Keep listening. They're on my
And then
top albums.
the 16th,
February 16th, Brockhampton live at the Rave,
which
in
we
Milwaukee.
will definitely be getting into in a little bit.
Very deep.
And then the 23rd, I want to say?
Yeah, it's a week after Brockhampton is Prof in Madison.
And we will be seeing Prof.
At the Majestic, I believe. Prof is the best live show I've ever seen, as far as, like, besides Kanye, which you cannot
top,
the two.
No.
I've seen him probably, I just say 30 times now, and that's not being hyperbolic. It's very ridiculous, and that should show how good that is. I go to a lot of shows, but his show is one of the best. So we saw him this year, February, in Madison. It was chilly. It was like snowing because it was cold, but it wasn't terribly cold, so it ended up raining. So we get up there. We get the shitty hotel. It's Motel 6, actually. Shout out that Motel 6. I'm surprised we're still allowed there. There's 2 on basically the same street. It is like a crack den motel that we pay a hot $50 and split 4 ways for.
Hell yeah.
And it is disgusting, and it's our aesthetic.
Yes.
And so we get there, check in the hotel, and then we just hit the ground running. I think we got some food. Since it was a Thursday in Madison, there's a bar called The Plaza, which does Long Island's for $2.50. Very strong. So the gentleman in question hadn't really been out like we go out. I think this was his first trip to Madison with the dads, and we go pretty hard in Madison.
Very
I've got
hard.
a lot of stories. So we're just drinking. R.I.P. Tiki Shack, the best place ever, was still open then. They have strawberry vodka lemonades. Fucking the best bar ever, best drink ever. Don't even question it. So we're just giving it like we like to do. Get to the venue, High Noon Saloon, see Prof. This guy is very drunk. At one point, he's yelling at me, and I can't hear him because it's loud. So I lean and I say, "What?" And he headbutts the shit out of me. And I was like, "What the fuck?" And he was like, "I was trying to tell you I was excited." So he's pretty lit.
That's pretty, yeah, that's
pretty lit.
That's pretty clout.
And that was 8 or 9. Like, we were still waiting for Prof.
Yeah.
Plays. He's going crazy. I think people around him were very annoyed by him because we're all fucking just giving it. So then afterwards, we go out. It's raining. We're just walking around Madison, going from bar to bar. They have $8 Long Islands that come in a giant mason jar. This big, like the thick round ones. Watch the video. It's almost a foot of mason jar.
Foot of a long foot.
Thick, girthy fucking Long Islands. So I don't know how they even do it. Like, that's usually what pushes me over my point. So we're doing that. We're fucking just popping in bars we've never even been to before. Then it hits last call, and we try to go to Pizza de Roma, my favorite pizza place in Madison. We go there, but before that, there's like a bar real close that will just do shots, like even after 2. You go in and they won't serve you beer, but they'll do shots. So we go in and do shots, and we're all just fucking
fucked,
crazy drunk. We eat some pizza, I think, maybe. We're outside, and I can tell he's fucked. Like, he's leaning on me, and I'm like holding him in the street, and I'm like, it's gonna be okay. And he's like, I just out, like the most drunk I've ever seen him, and I've known him quite a long time. And so then we call a Lyft, get in the car, we get maybe a block away, and he's like, I'm gonna puke. Don't puke in a Lyft or Uber. It's $200 fee. Don't do it.
Oh my god.
Yes, I've never done it. I've never been around someone who does it, but I've had the thought, because usually at 3 to 4 in the morning, I'm getting in an Uber. There's a chance we could puke. And we've had different times with each of these people where we've had to hop out of the car because I'm not paying $200. Wasn't even, Bug gave me his credit card number to put in my phone because he didn't know how to use Lyft. So I think I still have his card in my Lyft. But yeah, so we get a block up, and I'm next to him in the car, and he's like, I'm gonna puke. I'm like, could you pull over? Super nice Lyft lady. I ended up giving her like $15 tip.
Yeah.
Get out. We're by this electrical box, and he's like, I think I'm gonna puke. And I'm like, just fucking do it. He can't do it. And I'm like, all right, it's not that far of a drive, maybe 10, 15-minute drive back to the hotel. I'm like, you got to keep it in. You can't puke in the car, like, no matter what. It's like, okay. So I give him credit. He keeps it in. We pull up on the street it's on, and Bug's like, pull over. Bug gets out and pukes. And I'm like, we're close enough to the motel. And I'm like, here's $15. You're great. And she's like, I get this a lot. You guys were fun. And so we get Bug's puking. I have to get the secret guest here out of the car. We're both carrying him down the hotel. It's like a long hallway.
Beautiful.
We have to lift him up. There's like 3 stairs for some reason lifted up there. He's going, oh. And I'm like, wait for the room. Wait for the room. Open the door. All over the floor right there. So I'm like, at least he got it in the room so we don't get kicked out. And I am cleaning up the vomit with a washcloth. When I clean up the vomit, the floor of the Motel 6 is so disgusting that the washcloth turned black from wiping the floor with it. If that gives you an idea of how gross this motel is. So then we get him in the bed. He's out. I was so drunk, I was going to go find a park and walk in it because I was fairly certain there's a park afoot. I was like, I know there's a park somewhere. And we'd been in the rain for hours to the point where we woke up the next day. Our clothes were all soaked still, which comes into play. But I'm like, fuck it, let's go to the park. And talking to Matt, the guy, I'm like, you want to go to the park? He's like, I'll go to the park. We're like opening beers.
I'll go to the park.
And then it hits that point where you're like, I have a great idea. And then you take a sip of another beer and you're like, I just need to die. Like, actually, I don't know where I thought.
I hate that because you waste like a whole beer doing that.
Yeah, we woke up to a bunch of beers that had a sip. Yeah, you go from like, let's fucking do whatever to let's go to bed because I don't know if I can function again. So I fall asleep. Me, Bug, Matt, unmentionable person. There's only 2 beds. We're comfortable with ourselves, so we sleep next to each other. In the middle of the night, I'm facing the wall. I hear something and I wake up. It sounds like a belt is being unbuckled. My eyes open. This is my audio novel.
Natural reaction.
Eyes open. Look at the wall. Hear a noise that sounds like water being poured on the ground. What is that? So the blanket was like up, so I couldn't see, but I pan over, and this kid is standing there, so drunk, I can't see below his like chest, but he's pissing on the floor. He's pissing. He's standing. He woke up. He thought he went to the bathroom, unbuckles his belt, unzips his pants, and I'm assuming his dick is out and he's pissing on the floor. I felt one of the most uncomfortable moments of my entire life. I'm laying there. I don't want to see his dick. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't want to like be like, hey, because then he's just gonna spray everywhere like a skunk. So I'm like, I can't risk it. I guess we just do it. I felt so awkward and uncomfortable. So then I just hear it and like a collapse. And then I'm like,
did he collapse into the piss?
I don't know. I get where it goes. It's hard to identify at this moment. I somehow fall back asleep, and then I wake up again, and I'm like, maybe it was a dream. There's someone under the blanket, and then Bug is in the bed with Matt. So I'm like, well, this must be the other person. And then I'm like, oh yeah, there was that sound. I think he pissed in the bed, and I think he's laying in it. So then I get up. I feel like shit. I normally don't get hungover, but we really did it. And I'm like, I think I got to go take a shower. Matt happens to wake up and he comes over to me and he's like, how you feeling? I'm like, not great. And he's like, yeah, me neither. I think he pissed in the room. And I was like, yeah. And it's like, I woke up and I heard a noise and then he was just standing like wobbling back and forth. I think he was pissing on the bed. So then we don't see any wet spots. I take a shower, come out. We're waiting for them to wake up. Finally, he just emerges he's like completely under the cover, like balled up. He busts out, stands up, and then he goes to the bathroom. And then we look at the bed and there's not anything. There's nothing on the floor. It had only been like maybe an hour or 2 because we went to bed at like 5 and it's like 8. So we're like, what the fuck? I know. Me and Matt are both like, I know what happened. And we say something to him and we're like, did you wake up and piss? And he's like, no, I was out. I don't even remember getting here. And then he goes to the bathroom and then he comes out and he's like, yeah, I might have pissed my pants. He didn't even whip it out. He undid his pants and then pissed his pants standing up. He stood up in the middle of the room. I assume logistically, I assume he woke up. He thought I know.
It's all coming together now. It's just
yeah. I wish
while you're just there, just
You know, in Paranormal Activity, where it's
This was some very not normal activity.
it's like Paranormal Activity, where it's the footage of the lady just standing next to the
It
bed,
was
and
like-
it's time lapse. So that was him. That's the best example I can give you. I wish I could show people this memory. Just wobbling, dick in pants, just pissing. So he goes, and luckily he had some other pants, but I feel like he was in denial for a bit, and then once he was like, oh, my pants are wet, and then I think he still was like, no, I don't know, and then we eventually were like, you stood up. I'm guessing you thought you went to the bathroom or were in a bathroom. I've heard a lot of stories about people pissing in their bed while they're sleeping. I've heard of people getting up on their bed and pissing onto their bed.
Yeah.
Like, it happens. I've never personally done that.
No.
I piss outside.
Yeah,
or
I've pissed
might have
in a
pissed in
lot of
buildings I
places
shouldn't,
outside.
like in a place where I shouldn't, just all over the floor of a bathroom. One time I peed into a hand dryer. We all do crazy stuff.
I was at a concert one time and I saw people peeing in the sink, and then someone came in and yelled Slayer, and people started pissing everywhere and kicking the trash cans around. They were going,
my kind
Slayer,
of
Slayer.
Holy
Oh my
shit.
God.
Were you seeing Slayer?
No, I was not. But they were screaming Slayer, and they were
You
trying
were
to
seeing Good Charlotte, and they're like, Slayer.
I don't even remember who I was seeing. I just remember there was a huge line for the bathroom.
Watch the fucking video. folks.
Oh yeah, I see you start screaming Slayer and shit just starts getting broken everywhere. That's just how life goes. The way life goes.
Yeah.
It's true. That's right. You start screaming Slayer and the shit starts getting broken.
So yeah, that hands down, I thought of it the other day, and I'm like, that's definitely one of my favorite memories. That's one of my favorite people. We've had a great year, and that I feel like at first I kept bringing it up, and I was like joking, because if it was me, I would embrace the shit out of it. And I
Yeah.
feel like he has now. But I
Yeah.
feel like at first he like
It's kinda
it was
awkward
the first
because-
time out with the dads, and that's what
Yeah.
I mean. You guys think you want to party with the dads, but you might wake up
You will regret
pissing
it.
your pants in a disgusting Motel 6 or 8 that you haven't somehow been kicked out of.
I know this isn't going to make it on the air. This is going to be well past it, but tomorrow is Slim's Christmas party,
Yeah,
which
so we'll be recapping that
we-
on the first
we will-
episode of the new year.
we will be the Dapper Dads do Christmas.
Yeah, the whole squad will be there.
So
and it's gonna,
it's going to get pretty turned up.
oh, I've got some things.
No, I know the caliber of people that are coming out to this one, and with you and the rest of the Dad Squad coming out, I have some high expectations.
Yeah, it's probably gonna get really sloppy. I'm gonna
Good.
shit in your closet.
I mean, if you shit in my closet, I actually have a very special drunk present I want to give to you when you're drunk, but I have to give it to you. It's not a present as much as it's going to be an
It's more
experience.
liquor.
It's going to be an experience when you're drunk that I'm going to give to you that you're going to love.
Nice. Follow Dapper Dad's
That sounded a little molesty. It's not like that.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's Christmas.
Follow Dapper Dad's podcast on Instagram. I'm sure there'll be some pictures and video.
Yeah,
we're
I
gonna start using the story on there. I think would be
Yeah,
good
let's
for when we
definitely-
do these adventures. Today we are, after recording this, which it currently is 1:47 in the PM. We're doing another beautiful day episode because everything worked out. We are gonna go get into some $1 Long Island's at Applebee's.
We're going out with the Dad Squad. I've
Dad
been
Squad,
talking
dude.
about it all week. This is the start of our 4-day Christmas weekend
Binge.
bender. So it's starting today. Here's how mine's gonna go. We're starting today with the Dad Squad, going out to Applebee's and doing whatever shenanigans the night brings us. Will I go home tonight? Who knows? All I gotta know is tomorrow, gotta be at work 10 a.m. till 6:30. Then I'm coming home, setting up for this party from 8 p.m. to question mark. The dads are getting turned up. 2 days in a row, Dad Squad turning up. Can we handle it? Find out on the next episode.
yeah, there's gonna be some stories.
Because then Sunday, I have to be back at work at 11 a.m. until 8:30 at night on Christmas Eve. Then I am hosting Christmas at my house on Monday. So it will be one gigantic Christmassy jingle bells all the way kind of fucking Christmas weekend for us.
Yeah, so the first episode of the new year will be very interesting. There will be a lot of stories. Applebee's, we're going to see what you're about. They are doing $1 Long Island's every
fuck
Friday
up some commas at
of
Applebee's.
December. So you're missing out on this if you're hearing it now, but we will let you know what they're like. I'm not expecting a lot, but it'll be...
I am hoping
an
that
adventure.
they have a jukebox that has Groupies by Future on it.
Oh, then I drink 12. 12 Long Islands.
12 Long Islands,
Yeah,
just bring them to
fucking
the... Yeah, be fucking my Groupies.
Speaking of that, you want to get into this year-end wrap
Yes,
up?
here is the beef of it. So right now we are going to bring you the Dapper Dads present albums of the year. So
top 10 albums from each of us.
So as you know, we are highly into music. If you fucked with the show at all before, you understand that our lives revolve around music. We eat music, we drink it, we breathe it, we sleep.
I shit it.
I shit music. I cum music. I fuck music.
All right, let's stop. Actually, before we get into this, I'm going to take a piss.
All right, bathroom break. Check the video for something cool.
Woo! All right, what a beautiful shit that just came out of my penis.
Man, that took 3 hours, and I heard you screaming.
Yeah, I mean...
It is 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
You've been through so much disgusting penis mutilation as I have. It comes out of everywhere. So yeah, exactly what you folks wanted to hear. Top 10. I'm going to start it off. We're going to go 10 to 1. You probably have no idea what 1 is at all. We haven't alluded to it.
No, we haven't made hints or anything like that. I think some of my selections are going to surprise people because I have some alternative ones in there.
Yeah, I've got a couple, but nothing too exciting. The way we do this, also to preface, this is very calculated. So we do a ranking system where you rate every single song on the project a number, and then you divide the total by the number of songs.
Yes.
So it gives you a nice, very specific average, which if you are crazy about music like us, it's a fun thing to do because it will really show you. Because if we would have done a top 10, I think we both agree it would have been much different.
We just would have thrown some stuff out there. But what I found, this is my first time actually doing this, and what I found most interesting about it is while there may have been albums where certain songs were like really, really fantastic overall, because like one of the albums on here, it's kind of close to the bottom, had some of my favorite songs of the year if you listen to the last episode, but overall it ranked I think it was like 8th or 9th. So
yeah, it really teaches you about an album as a whole.
There really is a difference between a banger and an album cohesively, and so we have our top 10, and then we also are going to do some quick fire honorable mentions that we liked throughout the year. With a lot of it, I didn't write down a lot of the album titles. It's just artists who put out projects, and I'd like to say, these guys had a project, check them out if you're into our style of music.
Exactly. So yeah, this is very calculated. So for example, my number 10 is More Life by Drake. It got a 6.25 out of 10. So yeah, this almost didn't even make my list. There's a few where I was like, I don't think overall it's great, but it was just to kind of fill out my 10 is how I felt about this. So I listened to it when it premiered on Apple Music, and even it's so long. That's literally the biggest thing.
I didn't review it personally because I knew we were just going to get into it on the show. It's one of those things where I felt like the average may have hurt this one a little bit because there was so many
and that's
tracks.
I have good examples of the shorter projects being better.
Yeah, and one of my examples...
what is this, like 22 songs?
Something like that, yeah.
It's insane.
And a little bit later, one of my top albums of the year actually ranked so high because it has so few songs, but they're so quality that it ranked higher.
So yeah, this is, in my opinion, this is Drake's worst album. I know it's listed as a playlist.
Which is actually my favorite, personally.
Really?
Yeah, I really enjoy this one a lot.
So every other Drake album wouldn't even make a top 10 for you then?
I mean, it's good stuff, but for me, this one had enough songs where I would listen to them constantly enough. And I remember when it's really a spring album to me. To me, it feels tropical, but not in the sense of the beats. It feels like it feels like more life. Feels very green. It feels very life. Like it feels very full of things. One of the biggest problems
is his shit has gotten too repetitive. That same dance hall drum beat is in.
Well, I mean, one of my favorite songs, like one of my top picks from that album, Medita Rhythm, is basically just one dance without the other parts. It's just that doon 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 doon. Yeah, and it's like it's that Latin dance hall sound that's been becoming really popular this year, which is
it too much.
It's not a sound that I'm opposed to. Like I don't hate it at all.
Just too much.
It's just too much. Now, Medita Rhythm is probably my favorite song off of that project, just because it's one of those songs that I drove around listening to it so much. It was like that was one of those ones.
I think it's too close to everything else.
See, I like it better than I liked One Dance though. So for me, it's like when One Dance burned out so quickly, this was like kind of a nice refresher for it. It's like that beat was still good, but to me, the song itself was better. I liked the lyrics more for that one. I really liked the part where he's like, I cannot tell who is my friends. I need distance between me and them. I felt like that really encapsulated my 2017 in a way, because we were talking about this last week. This year, it's like I've really cut down on the amount of people. I still know a lot of people, and I'm very sociable with a lot of people. This podcast has really, been something that people talk to me a lot about. But the people I consider very close to me, I've kept very close, and everyone else who wasn't as good of a quality has been pushed farther away. And it's like I don't mind pushing out the quantity if it gives more quality. And so there was a lot of songs on this album that did mean a lot to me this year, but as a project, I agree with you. It just wasn't cohesive at all.
It starts off so great. Like, I love Free Smoke. I love that he didn't do the repetitive trope of the first album is like him just like a lower beat and him just like rattling off
just
all
kind
of
of talking.
His beginning and ending of every album is like very similar, which just like everything on his mind, and it's kind of a more chill beat.
Yeah.
I love that it starts off with the sample, which is a little too long, and then it's just like Free Smoke is a banger.
Free smoke.
Yeah, when I listened to it, I was like, yes. And then it's got a few good ones at the beginning. I forget what song it is, No Long Talk, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I pre the whole thing. And that alone almost ruined the album for me, because I just picture him just ejaculating everything he's got. When you say I pre the whole thing, all that comes in my mind is you just coming
and just disappointing
your whole
women.
thing is the whole thing. But yeah, overall, very disappointing. It's just so long. Even to review it and get the score, I was like, I want this to be done. Yeah. So I think it fits with the score I gave it. Best songs outfit, Sacrifices, like we talked about.
Best verse of the year.
Best verse of the year, Young Thug, Sacrifices. We talked about it in the last episode. I love Free Smoke. Fake Love was my favorite, like more poppy one. Because I remember, driving around to that
Straight
with people.
Up to my face.
Yeah, that was such a catchy one. I wish it could have been more like that. But definitely a very, very underwhelming album from one of the top rappers in the game.
Going with that theme in the same vein, my 10 album of the year was Damn by Kendrick Lamar, coming in at a measly 5.4.
All right, and just to preface everything, these are our opinions. I usually put this on Facebook, my personal Facebook, and the comments become a shit show.
They do.
Of old people being like, I don't know who that is, and people being upset that I constantly rank the albums of the year not as good. So yeah, don't come to me with your fucking shit. We can discuss it like cordial people, but don't be like, Damn's number 10. Damn, just for reference, is 7 for me. So we'll just talk about it at the same time. I put it at 7 with a 6.9, which I'll get more into that ranking because there's a couple albums that fit right around there.
For me personally, I've always championed Kendrick Lamar in the sense that, like, I feel like when I first got into him, I felt like he was a rapper where he opened his mouth, you should listen to what he has to say. You know, it's like we've mentioned, he really fronts this whole like conscious rap, you know, this thought out rap, you know. And not only that, he's seen as a socio-political figure because, you know, he's someone who speaks a lot for the Black Lives Matter movement. He's someone who is very outspoken, and it's like, you know, it's good to have someone with a platform like that.
Yeah, I feel like he really brought that back into focus.
And I don't want anyone to get me wrong here. I fucking love Kung Fu Kenny. I love Kendrick Lamar. I love playing his shit. And there were some songs off this album that absolutely stood out to me. Love featuring Zachariah is one of my favorite songs this year. He just put out the visual for it today, and it is beautiful. It's fantastic. DNA is one of the hardest songs that came out this year. That last half is one of the hardest things I've ever heard in my entire life because he just spits, and what he spits, it's good. It's thought out. You know, he's not one of these ignorant rappers who just talks about just Xans and drugs.
And that's
shit.
like I've said, I want a banger album from Kendrick, and that's not saying like throw away all your conscious shit. Like, he should do 2 albums.
Do a double
album.
album.
Slappers, because even when his songs are bangers, Mad City, DNA, Humble, everything he's got like that, he's still saying a lot. So I feel like we can all appreciate that.
Right,
I just love my music 80% of the time to be more upbeat.
Right, I like an upbeat slammer.
Chill. That's definitely his most experimental.
Well, and it's the album went so back and forth for me. You know, it opens up with that opening track where it's kind of talky and stuff, and it sets the tone really well.
I get it. I get what
DNA sets us off right. It's a banger. The next one, I love. It's that slow kind of like da na 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 na, and it's just like, and you start off, you're like, this isn't bad, you know, and then it gets into the one with Rihanna. I can't stand that one anymore.
It loses itself very quickly.
It starts around the middle. It starts going back and forth, like the song Pride, the opening of it, where it's like, love's gonna get you.
I love that part.
He says, love's gonna get you killed, but pride's gonna be the death of you and me and you and you and you and me and you and me. And that really resonates with me because it's a really thought out piece that you can meditate a lot off of. You can think of it, but that song is garbage. That whole track is bad, and it's like everyone's heard Humble so many times, and the album just falls apart towards the end because it's like
even like going in early, Element is a fantastic song.
So good.
The chorus is so unbelievably bad.
He needs a better hook writer.
And then make it look sexy. It doesn't fit the song at all.
Take me on my element.
Yeah, that part. If it would have just been that, but it's like. If I got this type of pussy ass, I'm gonna make it look sexy. It's so, like, because he starts off so hard and he's like, I'm willing to die for this shit. I don't
Yeah, and it's
shit.
good.
And I'm like, fucking get it. And
then it goes
he's
into this
just like,
awful
I'm gonna
chorus.
make it look sexy. And I'm like, why would that, like...
Well, and then you get to the end of the album, and Triple X with U2, that was the one everyone was like, what is this going to be, you know?
Yeah.
And it starts off so hard, and it's like, man, just the sirens and the beat, everything is so hard. And then it just cuts into this pseudo-country sounding thing.
Yeah,
it's like,
that
what
whole
were you
first part where
thinking,
he's
you know?
like, I'm gonna throw the burner in the whatever.
This the day I got a call from Tata, girl like 101.
Like that flow, when I listen to that,
Say
I
they
got
killed
so
his one
hyped.
and only son because of insufficient.
And then when he's like, I'd shoot him, and then he's like, hold on, I gotta go talk about gun safety.
Yeah.
It's like the fucking best like juxtaposition.
It's a good juxtaposition, but to me,
But then it kind of
it just
like
hits. It just stops so
when
hard.
you do the beat change thing can go so bad.
Yeah.
It's like
Well, and that's my final thought on the album is that the track "God" I can't even listen to. That's what got me.
I know, and the poppy synths, and like he can make good pop songs. I think one of the biggest problems is "Good Kid, Mad City" is probably like my favorite album by him.
Absolutely.
I like Section 80 as well. But "Good Kid, Mad City," and that's a very like specific concept album.
Yeah.
So you can't expect everything, and I don't really care for concept albums overall like that because I think it's hard to execute. And that was probably the album. You know how people's first album, like you had your whole life to make this,
Right.
And that's why the sophomore slump and everything. But I feel like that had everything. That had really good radio hits. That
Absolutely.
had fucking Mad City, which is probably his best banger.
Swimming
hands
pools.
down.
How often do you hear
so
that?
catchy.
Yeah.
The backseat freestyle is like nasty. Like the hardest, just going off. Like that album is really good.
Well, and I know we both have opinions about where the album, what is a good example of specifically is wrong with the album. Mine is Duckworth, and to me, it's a song people rave about. And I remember there was like a video of a guy where he was like, when the beat changes on Duckworth, and it has so many beat changes in it that it sounds sloppy. And I get that it's a song about like, hey, you know, this is a weird coincidence, and if this never happened, I might not be Kendrick Lamar. And like, it's a cool story when you're wrapping up the album and everything, but the song itself, it's messy, it's all over the place, and while it has its moments, it's just executed poorly, and that's how I feel about Damn. It has its moments where I'm listening to it, and I'm like, fuck yeah, Kung Fu Kenny's got it figured out. But then there's other moments where I'm like, who listened to this for him and was like, yeah, this is how we want this to go. This is perfect. So that's why it landed number 10 on my list. I'm not saying I hate Kendrick Lamar. I love Kendrick Lamar. At the party tomorrow, there will be several Kendrick Lamar tracks
I think
on the
that's
playlist.
what makes it worse. Same thing with Drake is when you've made so many quality songs and albums, then, you know, anything you do is under a microscope.
Right, yeah.
My best example for that album is Lust. Listen to Lust. It's terrible chorus. Let me put the head in. What the fuck? He does the baby voice too much, and not in like the fun way. The beat is like, backwards. Like what? Who the fuck was like play the beat in reverse and it'll be great? It just takes it's too much everywhere to focus on what he's saying or get anything out of it. And then the end is just a clusterfuck. Like it's just a nightmare. That song is so bad that it's unbelievable. And that's how I feel about the album overall. Is they have those components. A lot of bad choruses. The beats are whatever all over the place. His baby voice doesn't fit like he does on older projects.
So that's why it falls number 10 for me, number 7 for you.
Yeah, 7 for me.
Number 7. So what is your number 9?
Number 9 is Future by Future at a 6.6. This one came out. I couldn't do Hendrix. I tried to put them together.
I really tried to redo Hendrix, and it has its moments. Use Me is probably the only salvageable song off that project for me.
I like the first song. I can never remember what it's even called. It's just a very disappointing album, and I normally like that Future, like this sad, moody Future.
Yeah,
that's
like, the best one because it's like he's established himself.
I want bangers or sad, moody, and then sometimes it falls in the middle.
Well, you have to admit, personally, for both of us, nothing is going to beat DS2 ever. Like anything Future ever puts out, it's never going to be as good as DS2.
That people don't think that's his best project. Like that thing is,
it's so good,
unbelievably good,
and ungodly good.
I listened to that when I wasn't really a Future fan. Like I was a fan of his features and like.
That was the album that got me into Future because my friend is super into Future, and we were driving around and she was like, you need to listen to more Future, and I was like, well, where should I start? And so we just put on DS2, and that I thought there was a drop. I just fucked your bitch in some Gucci
instantly starts
flops.
And it doesn't stop.
No, the whole album just goes and
Blow
goes. Where you at by Drake is my go-to song everywhere. How often are we out? And I'm like, well, as long as they have Where You At, we'll be okay.
Exactly. But yeah, Future, the self-titled, it's better than I remember. Like when I initially listened to it, I was like, you get Mask Off, you get like POA is an incredible banger.
What's the one where he's like, I don't care if you love her, I'm a fucker.
Yeah.
Woo.
I forget what it's in my room.
I just went skiing with a bad bitch.
I love how it just starts right away. Like, I don't care if you love her,
I'm a fucker. Woo. Yeah. And
I shout that a lot.
That's one of my, and that always comes up in my shuffle when I shuffle my music. That's one of the first songs that always comes up because I listened to that so much when that album first came out. And to me, the album, I didn't appreciate the skits so much, and I understand he was going for more of like a trap mixtape feel for this one, but it's like it didn't work for me as a future project. Because on DS2 on I Serve the Bass, he says you wanted a pop star, but you made a monster. Yeah. He's already established himself as like a pop star in a way. You know, he's
like
at that level.
Ratchet shit.
Well, he's at the level with like The Weeknd at this point, you know, where it's like he is a
after
superstar.
His work with Drake, he is a
superstar, and it's like it's almost hard for an artist, I feel, in a way, to go back on themselves. I'm very hesitant to listen to the new Gucci Mane one. What is it, El Gapo, the Human Glacier, whatever. Well, because it's supposed to be a callback to like his like trap house era music.
And I don't think he can at this point.
Well, and it was all produced by 808, one of the guys from 808 Mafia. I forget who it was. Southside. It was all produced by Southside.
I saw you this year.
But it's like I don't know if I'm gonna like it because it's like Rich Gucci can't be singing about how like
you can't
trap Gucci,
go
you know.
Back. But for future, listening back, I knew more words to it than I would have thought just from listening to it. When I Was Broke is the best the best song off of that album.
Mm-hmm.
That is like the moody, like sad future, like you broke my heart.
Leaned out, like
leaned
just
out, you
opening
broke
himself
my heart.
out, you know.
That listen to When I Was Broke, one song off that, listen to When I Was Broke. It's completely different. But Draco is incredible. I would have thought Draco would have done what Mask Off did, just because it's so like poppy and fun. It's a little too long. I feel like he went too long on some of them. I think I like more like 2 verses from him.
Yeah.
Usually by the 3rd verse, I'm like, all right, we don't need any more.
Yeah.
And then Mask Off was crazy. POA is the banger.
So good. Yeah.
POA or Draco, I would have thought could have been what Mask Off was. Mask Off is more like that druggy trap sound that,
right,
obviously can work because it's fucking incredible.
It's on the party playlist for tomorrow, so.
Draco, POA, When I Was Broke, it's good. It is a good album. Like I said, the scores make it seem like 6.6 sounds bad, but it is like a pretty decent.
But keep in mind, this is out of all the albums that have come out this year, this is the 10 we have picked.
Our number ones aren't like 10s, so we'll get into that, but that'll
absolutely
help explain why because my next couple ones are so close that so get into what you got.
So my number 9 is Lana Del Rey's Lust for Life, coming in at a hot 6.8. I've always loved Lana Del Rey. One of the things I've always appreciated about her is she has like that old world beauty that you don't really see anymore. You know, she looks like a Hollywood film actress out of the 30s, and that's the aesthetic she tries to carry with her, and I've just always appreciated that.
That's her what?
Aesthetic!
Oh, I shouldn't have done it.
You shouldn't have done that.
Clipped like God. Clipped like a monster.
But I've always loved every one of her projects, and everything she's done hasn't always been a 10 out of 10 for me. Her album Honeymoon was my personal favorite, just because that had the most songs that I found myself listening to a lot, relating to the most. Some of her lyrical content I don't necessarily relate to in a way, because it's like I don't get this whole like drugged out femme fatale, you know, Hollywood elite stuff like that. So lyrically, it doesn't really resonate with me like that, but I love everything she does artistically. As an artist, I believe in the persona that Lana Del Rey puts out there. You know, Lizzie Grant puts out this Lana Del Rey persona, and I believe in what she's saying because she does it so well. This album was especially good because she's always had just a touch of hip hop to her sound, you know, and that's what made Honeymoon so accessible to me, was that it had big orchestration to it. So it had like a very old film score sound, but it had like 808s on it, and it had drum machines. So it's like a lot of the beats were made with a classic sound in mind, using modern technology. With this one, she took it just a bit step more towards the, I don't want to say pop sound, but like she has a song with Playboi Carti and A$AP Rocky on it. Her and Rocky have had a long, good musical relationship. They have a song out there.
You think they fucking?
I wish. God, do you know how much I would love a beautiful A$AP Rocky, Lana Del Rey baby?
Oh, God. Hope they fucking break up so we can get that beautiful, heartbroken music from both of them.
Wouldn't that be so good? Because Rocky's stuff breaks my heart.
You gotta wish sad lives for your favorite artists.
What is hip hop in the summer bummer is one of the best songs that came out this year, in my opinion, because it combined that like dark sexiness that she has, and then you've got Cardi's verse on there, which is fantastic. Talks about Millie rocking in New York. It's like, you got to do that, you know.
I mean, what else does he do?
Pretty much. And then you got Rocky's verse on there, and have you heard the song at all?
I think I did, but I didn't pay.
I'll probably play it at the end of the show when we're just talking. It'll get played at some point today. But she had lots of moments like that on the album. She has a song with The Weeknd, who, if you read interviews, The Weeknd has said that he feels like Lana Del Rey is the woman he's singing about in every single one of his songs. He pictures like the woman he would be singing about, it's Lana Del Rey. And she says the same about him. And so they have like this really fun intimacy when they record together. And all the songs they put out always have some kind of it's a beautiful chemistry they have together. So overall, cohesively, the album, it does have its highs and lows, because at some point it's about 15, 16 tracks long. And so you get into it and you're like, you have your highs, your lows. There's, some really good beats at some point. There's some good orchestration. But after a while, after 16 tracks, you're kind of like, okay,
done with it.
Like she has a song with the girl from Fleetwood Mac, what's her name?
Stevie Nicks.
Yeah, Stevie Nicks.
Really?
And you're like Lana Del Rey and Stevie Nicks. This is and it's executed.
Stevie Nicks did so much coke that her nose collapsed.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Fun fact.
And you can hear it.
Yeah.
And it's like one of those things where you think it's like, oh, this is going to be really interesting, and it looks better on paper than it is in reality, So it's like while I was listening to the album, there's a lot of songs that stood out, and I was like, wow, these are really good hot tracks. But at the same time, there was enough like 3s and 4s in there that it brought the score down into the 6s. So always a quality product from Lana Del Rey. It's just something where the pieces are greater than the whole.
Yeah, trim some fat, which is I think the problem with a lot of these.
And honestly, it's because they want the streaming numbers. They want these big album numbers with all these streams so you can get the higher album sales. But really, I'm more appreciative of the album. One of my top albums this year had 5 songs on it. And we'll get into that as we get later up on the list. So what is your next one?
So my number 8
yes.
is Ugly God, the Booty Tape.
Yes.
At a 6.9, which is the same ranking as Kendrick Lamar. So old heads, come and suck my dick.
Come and eat it,
old heads. This is probably the most upsetting to other people. I did sense it
was a good project.
It is a good project. It's short, which we'll get into. But since they're both 6.9, I did put Kendrick above it because I do think long-term, Damn will be a better project.
Right. People are going to remember Damn in the long run.
What's going to happen with that. But the Booty Tape
Watch
is
it
fucking...
go 4 times platinum.
It's so fun. Like, I think it's the best, explanation of how I listen to music. Like, Damn, which is such a cohesive, thought out, personal, wonderful project. And then the Booty Tape, which is just, a meme, essentially.
Yeah.
Can both be on the same level for me because I feel like that's how music works. Sometimes I want to hear some conscious shit. Sometimes I want to hear the height of ignorance.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
These are both. The Booty Tape is short. And I think that's why, we'll get into, I have several that are shorter and end up being higher up. But, he can rap when he wants to. The intro, or the first song after the intro with the kid's mom, he, gets into it. He can rap. I think he knows exactly what he's doing. Make in a way, funny, I feel like he songs.
Does, yeah.
I feel like it's very calculated. I love Stop Smoking Black and Mouths.
Is Ugly God smarter than we think? Let us know in the submissions box or call or text 402-732-7737.
Tell me how much you hate Ugly God.
Tell us if you think Ugly God is a genius.
He knows what he's doing. Stop Smoking Black and Mouths is
it's
probably my favorite song off the project.
It's so
funny and stupid and very relatable in my experience. Bitch is the epitome of Ugly God. I love that song. Everyone I play it around, I feel like it's shut the fuck up, bitch. He does do really stupid things. I think the song where he disses himself is just it's just
fuck
stupid.
Ugly God.
Yeah, that chorus is bad, and then it's just very cringy and corny. So I feel like he goes too far into it. There's the little dick click song, same thing. That's why if it wouldn't have had those 2 songs, this could have been really high up in my list. Because those 2 songs are terrible.
Just brought it down. Yeah.
Water is I hate all the rappers talking about water. It's a very generic song. I feel like there's so many water rap songs.
I don't know. Paddock Water. It's such a good song.
That's a better one. There's so many just references to water.
I need my water.
But yeah, I mean, there's really not a lot to say about it. It is fun. If you want a fun, ridiculous project that isn't full of itself, it is exactly what you'd expect from him. And it is better than I think people give it credit for.
Well, and that's what most people I feel like they misunderstand about rap these days is that you're not supposed to take it all so seriously.
Not everything has to be
right. I don't listen to 21 Savage because I'm I'm going to get a thought out intellectual product here. I'm I want to hear some really good production and just talking about guns and killing people.
I don't want to be lectured by music of any sort.
I want to be entertained by music. I want music to take me away from stuff. I don't want it to lecture me about what's good and bad.
There's a place for everything. There's so much music and there's a space for everyone.
Yeah.
What's your 7?
7 or 8?
Sorry, this is confusing.
My number 8 is Love Is Rage 2 by Lil Uzi Vert, coming in at a hot 6.9. So right above Lana Del Rey's Lust for Life, we have Love is Rage 2. This was a project that I was looking forward to very much for a long time. I was not able to get too into Uzi Vert's older stuff. I listened to all of his stuff, and it's like he had a couple of songs that stood out, but cohesively the projects themselves didn't really stand out as albums. To me, they sounded like a guy who would have a day or two in the studio. He'd whip up a couple of tracks, go out and do some shows for a couple of weeks, come back, do a couple more tracks.
It's like a lot of Lucy's.
Yeah, with this one, this is the album that finally convinced me that he was worth listening to, because
this definitely got me more into him as well. It didn't end up making my list, but it was high on my honorable mentions.
To me, it had some of the best songs of the year. It had The Way Life Goes, which was one of our personal favorites. That's
his best song ever.
Ever. And to me, the album starts out like trash. Whatever that song is with like the accordion on it, like
I don't know.
Well, I heard that and I was like, oh, this is troublesome. I don't know how this is gonna go. But then 222 plus 444 starts, and I was like, okay, this has some hope. And then you have like No Sleep Leak coming in after that, which a lot of the stuff is where it's like I would just be listening to the album because I was like, there's something in here. I just got to listen to it more. And the songs themselves just started becoming part of my repertoire the more and more I would listen to it. Like I would listen to it while I was working out or just like cooking or something. I was like, there's got to be like something more in here. And the more I dug into it, the more I found. But
that's how I feel with Future, is like keeping them around. That's why you can't do like one listen and really review it.
Right.
It's got to be things that grow.
To me, if we were to take a look at the album on paper, the first half, if he had just put out like the first 10 or 11 songs, probably would have been one of the albums of the year for me. It's kind of like Drake. The last bit, it gets long. Pretty much anything after Unfazed with The Weeknd on there, it's just not good. I don't like the one where he's like Leonardo DiCaprio, like, and then
pretty sure my first listen I ended up turning it off towards the end.
Yeah, well, that first like. I want to say a little over half of it is so good, and a lot of the songs ranked as 10s on my list. It's got Neon Guts with Pharrell. Neon Guts
is incredible.
Which I'm going to be playing at the party tomorrow, and with the bass system I have, it's just that do. And so the album itself overall, it definitely gave us a reason to pay more attention to Lil Uzi Vert just as an artist, and I think this is something where people are going to look back on his career and they're going to be like, yeah, when Love is Rage 2 came out, that's when he really started blowing up. And
I think the hype got ahead of it because it took too long to come
out. It took too long because they were waiting for those streaming numbers for EXO Tour Life to keep coming in and coming in and coming in.
When you hype things up for too long, it can never live up to the product.
No, and that's part of the problem with Huncho Jack on my first listen is that it was hyped for so long that when you listen to it, like I gave it a listen last night, and to me it just sounds like another Travis Scott album with a bunch of Quavo features, you know? And, I do need to give it more listens. It just came out. I listened to it less than 12 hours ago, so it's like I do need to give it more listens. A lot of people are saying if you listen to it from a production angle and like a songwriting angle, it's pretty damn good.
Yeah, but you shouldn't have to like pinpoint things to listen to.
No, it should just be good as the way it is. So Lil Uzi Vert coming in at a 6.9, super duper hot. Check out Love is Rage 2. Honestly, I think if you're someone who's into more of the catchiness and a lot of the stuff doesn't make sense most of the time, but if you definitely have somebody who you've been heartbroken with before, it's definitely an album where you can find a lot in there just to relate to, because obviously The Way Life Goes has a lot to relate to. There's I forget which one it is. I think it's No Sleep Leak. He's like, now and then I think a lot of you, but I really don't want to bother you. I wish I could just divide you, and then I could just have a pile of you. And it's like, man, like the way he flows on that is good, but then it's like I have felt that way about someone before, and so it's like, a lot of what he says, it's like I don't relate to it now, but it's like I have felt this way about people before. I have been in these situations before, and it's relatable. And so for me, it was one of the most relatable projects of the year. Even though it did score so low on the list in terms of what I thought was the best, it was one of the most relatable.
My 7, we already mentioned Kendrick Lamar, Damn, coming in at 6.9, tying with Ugly God. I have nothing else to say about that project. We got it out, so we'll just jump into unless you guys want to hear me talk about Damn again.
God, I don't want any more damn talk. So at number 7, G Herbo's Humble Beast coming in at actually tied with another album, which is going to be number 6 because I felt like 6 was better. G Herbo's Humble Beast coming in at a 7. This was an album that where several songs have become part of the Dapper Dad's repertoire.
Oh, hell yeah.
Specifically Everything and I Like, which are songs that will probably be played today.
Oh, yeah, immediately. But I did not listen to this all the way through because I just kept forgetting. I feel like this could have made my list, the songs I've heard.
Yeah.
The one, like, more conscious song about, like, growing up in Chicago. I forget what the name of it is.
Well, there's another track on there called Bipolar that really just sells me on the album. This is one of those things, it's very similar to Uzi Vert in the sense that the first 2/3 was very strong and the last couple tracks kind of fall off a little bit. But overall, just from what I've heard.
I mean, just giving us "I Like" and "Everything."
That's enough to make an album of the year. You know,
those two songs are so
well, to me,
good.
it's something where his past product was so iffy before. It's kind of like French Montana this year. Like all the past stuff was so iffy that I didn't pay much attention, but the albums that they put out this year really made me pay attention.
Yeah, exactly. And he's Herbo's very underrated. And he took like a pretty decent break, I feel like, because I feel like the Pistol Pete tape or whatever that was is just like very thrown together. Welcome to Phasoland was like a couple years back, and it was his
good.
First project. I love that project.
I love Phasoland, but to me, like Humble Beast, he's a bit more serious. His flows are a bit harder
into himself.
His voice is very distinctive. He has a very certain way of delivering what he has to say.
I love his aggression when it comes out. Like I think everything where he's like, took everything in me not to close your fucking throat.
And it's like that's what's so good about him is as you're listening to the album, you know, a lot of rap that came out this year, like Migos, for example. We talk a lot about Migos on the show. It's hard to differentiate them sometimes because the way they say and what they say is so similar sometimes.
The songs become repetitive because they just sound so
similar. And then it's like you could say the same thing about Eminem. It's like everything just kind of sounds the same with him because the delivery is always the same. With G Herbo, it's like he's rapping, but he's also telling you what's going on. Like in everything, he's like Italian beef with extra cheese on it. And it's like he can take something like that. And it wouldn't work in any other song, but with his delivery and what and the rapping scheme he has going around the word everything,
it gives you that sense of like literally everything, even to the most mundane food order.
Well,
and everything,
and
like,
that's what. And the song itself, it's not even 3 minutes long when you listen to it. And it's like he hit the scene so fresh, so fucking clean. More 808 Mafia production on there. And then it's got that fantastic Uzi verse, which our good joke comes from. Mask off, remember me.
Yeah, listen to episode 20 if you haven't.
But if you haven't, just hang out with Slim and he'll talk about how
he'll ruin Uzi for you.
How non-threatening Lil Uzi Vert is as a human being. But yeah, so G Herbo, Humble Beast, definitely one of the most underrated albums of the year, I would say. Landed a higher spot on my list than Lil Uzi Vert and Kendrick Lamar. Yeah. So if that tells you anything, definitely go check out G Herbo.
I had to listen to it. I feel like I fucked up because I feel like it would be on my top 10. He's definitely underrated.
One of my favorite things.
People go crazy.
One of my favorite things I found this year, just attaining to that album, is that I love. I have a Google Home Mini, and I go, "Hey Google, play some G Herbo for me." He goes, "Now playing G Herbo, Humble Beast." And then it's like 808 Mafia, hit the scene so fresh, so fucking clean. Hey Google, turn volume up to 100%. Wake up the whole house.
All right, coming in at number 6 for me is Young Thug, Easy Breezy Beautiful Thugger Girl, whatever it ended up being titled.
Made my honorable mentions because I did not get to listen to it enough to appreciate it, but it was fantastic from what I heard.
Honestly, it's got a 7, by the way. It's tied with another album, which will be my next one, obviously. This was one, when I was rounding out my 10, I had 9, and I was like, I don't know what I want 10 to be. And I revisited this. I really thought this wouldn't even make 10, and it ended up coming in at 6. So it's better than I remembered it being. It's definitely a disappointing Thug project, I think, overall.
Yeah. It's no Slime season, I'll tell you that much.
No. And even, I really, not to be that guy, but I love, like, 1017 Thug 2, and I Came From Nothing 2. And like those really old mixtapes, he used to have more of like a character, more of like a wild voice. Like I feel like he's like brought it in and does now he does like the deep voice thing that I got a baby of 15, and I love that too. So he's like, that's why I think he's one of the best artists we'll see for a long time.
Oh, hands down. I believe that in time, like when people look back on like this period in time and like music and everything like that, Young Thug is going to be seen as one of the people who was like the most innovative, artistic,
influential. I see it.
I hate comparing people, but it's like I feel like he's going to be seen as one of those like David Bowie types, where it's like he always just changed what he did.
Elton John. The pictures of him and Elton John are my favorite.
It trips me out so much, but it's so wonderful.
But yeah, this is definitely better than I remember. I think the country aspect is interesting. Like I knew that was the direction it was going. And it's not too heavy on the album. I've seen people say it's all over the album. I think it's in a handful of songs. Yeah. That Yeehaw and Family Don't Matter gets me more hyped than a lot of ad-libs.
I'll scream Yeehaw at a Young Thug show. Don't think I won't.
And he's just like, if nothing else, he's probably one of my favorite like quotable rappers, because he says some shit. I think it's in Family Don't Matter when he's like, "I'm about to fuck somebody's girl off on this rum rum." I'm like, me too, me too, Thugger. And like, it's like overall it comes and goes. I think it ranked high for me because even when a Thug album or song is mediocre, it still sits higher than other artists because
because
this is definitely a biased thing. It's our fucking opinion. So
yeah,
like,
right.
even there's songs where I'm like,
This doesn't do anything in the long run. This is just what we think.
Yeah. It just like, I think a lot of songs sit at a 7 because like just a decent Thug song to me is a 7.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's still more interesting. And like, I love You Said, because when he's like, you said you're going to, what is it? You said you're going to kiss from my neck to my chest to my navel and dick and nuts. That's the word choices he went with. It's so jarring. I couldn't even rap along with it because you want to say, if you're going to say anything, I think dick and balls works better.
Yeah.
I feel like this is my favorite thing. I kept telling people this because it's so great to me. Imagine Young Thug in an intimate setting with a girl and she's like, I'm going to kiss from your neck to your chest to your navel to your dick and nuts. Like, what? It's so ridiculous. You think any other thing.
I mean, at least she knows the order she's going in.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a good order.
It's just dick and nuts.
I've seen worse orders.
It's such a beautiful song. It's like, you said you were gonna fuck me to death when you said that. You said you were gonna kiss from my neck to my chest to my navel and dick and nuts. And yeah, it's ridiculous. I know he changed some things on this album, as did Future with Future.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going off the first release.
Yes.
Because Quavo ruins, You Said. It's like a 7-minute song. I don't need that. It's ridiculous. I love On Fire just because it starts off with, it's so nice. And he's like, shot that boy so many times he caught on fire, which is an insane thing. Like, I've heard a
Picture
lot.
Young Thug. Literally so thin he can slip through a crack in the floor, just coming up and shooting a guy until he bursts into flames.
The man who got stuck in his hoodie when I seen him live,
shooting
and had to have
a man,
another man take the hoodie off of him
until he bursts into flames.
Yeah, because you hear in this day and age, I haven't listened to rap for a long time. I've heard some of the most gruesome and specific gun references, like so much shit from when I was younger. I've never had the thought or a line of someone shooting someone so many times that they burst into flames.
Because that's a lot of kinetic energy.
Captivating.
Like, if we're thinking about the science behind that, you got to have like 15 semi-automatics at once firing at least 19 different angles into this guy to even begin to get a combustible engine.
Yeah, and it's just such a beautiful song. Also love him and Future relationships is basically better than the entire project they put out, which we'll get into.
That's going on the honorable mention.
Yeah. So yeah, the whole project kind of comes and goes. It got a 7. It's good. Like I said, this is probably the most biased part of my list. Is Thug is just really high up for me. So even one of his albums is still a 7. So check it out. Listen to that Yeehaw. That's gonna be my ringtone for my messages.
Good.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw. What was that? 7 we just did. So now we're on 6.
Yeah. 6.
Coming in at number 6 for me, Plunge by an artist called Fever Ray, sitting at also a hot 7. I felt that this project was just a bit better than G Herbo's in the sense that this is an artist that's meant a lot to me for longer. Her name is Karen Dredger. She was initially in a group called The Knife with her brother Olaf Dredger, and they created some very, very weird music together. One of my favorite albums they did was with an artist called Planning to Rock and an opera company, and they wrote an opera with this group and this band that was about Charles Darwin's The Theory of Evolution. And so it's like a 2-hour-long album of just these weird electronic noises and operatic music and like guitars and stuff. It sounds very like chaotic when I describe it, but when you listen to it, you're like, oh, that kind of makes more sense. Like there's a song about like the evolution of like the tides and stuff like that, and it sounds like water drifting, but like it's not water, it's just stuff they've made electronically. They have a really fantastic song called We Share Our Mother's Health that is, to me this day, a banger, but I will not put it on any party playlist because it will stop a party. So that's one of those bangers where it's like only you think it's a banger,
it's
so
banger.
you gotta listen to it with it's your secret banger that you gotta listen to with headphones on and like dance to when no one's home because like no one else understands it. But she does solo music under the name Fever Ray. She put out her last album 7 or 8 years ago. And that was one of my favorite projects at the time. It's very dark, very atmospheric. It sounded black and white. And for an album to sound very black and white and just dark and dreary, it sounded like a black and white snowy day. Like, like those cold, late January days where everything's gray and quiet, That's what the album sounded like to me. And so this one, it has a bit more life to it. It's a bit more maturity. She talks a lot about sex, but not in just like fuck me kind of way, but just like sensuality and being very close to a person and like to the point where you feel like you're part of that person. Over some very, very fantastic music. It sounds very silky. Like the synths are very silky sounding. It's very dark. It's very cold sounding, but it feels very encapsulating at the same time. It's almost an album that's very hard to describe because it's such a unique sound. It sounds very Scandinavian because they're Swedish, and so it has that cold winter sound to it, but still maintaining like an electronic danceability. But it's not dance music. It's just very avant-garde, strange electronic music. And as I listened to the album, I found myself being really just entranced by a lot of the sounds that were being made on the album itself. And it's like we listen to a lot of rap, and it's like there's a lot of it that's sample based. There's a lot of it that's, homemade beats and stuff like that. And so there's a lot of noises to listen to. And something that was pointed out to me recently that I think is very true is that I like music where there's a lot going on, because I feel like in my head there's always a lot going on. So when there's a lot going on in the music, it's like, okay, I can grab onto this and grab onto this and grab onto this. And so with this, it just painted such beautiful, lush soundscapes that when you just kind of close your eyes and listen to it with a good set of headphones, it's like the album takes you a bit deeper on how much you're willing to let yourself just get immersed into the sound of it, because it's not always about what she's saying or how she's singing it over the track, but it's how her voice is emulating a sound to go along with the music. So to me, it was something where it was a more enjoyable experience just to feel the album and just really experience everything it had to give. And so it was one of those things where you press play, I'm listening to it, and I'm just kind of like writing down numbers after each song ends, but it really just takes you places when you listen to it. So I cannot recommend it enough. It is weird. It's a little strange. One of the other albums, one of my top albums, is also very strange, which I will get into. But this is the more accessible of the strange. So if you're looking for some just interesting, chill electronic music to listen to, I cannot recommend Fever Ray high enough. The album art is her with bright red contacts in, and she has the album name written out in like black metal wording and blood on her face. Nice. So you'll definitely know it when you see it. It's a very vivid picture. I'll pull it up for you after the show. It's very good. So yeah, Plunge by Fever Ray. I cannot speak highly enough about this album. Do check it out.
Nice. All right, so now we're in the top 5. We're gonna have to try to wrangle this in a little tighter because we're getting loose. So yeah, my number 5 also coming in at a 7, tied with Young Thug, but same situation. I know this is overall a better project that hopefully will live on, is Kwaku Collins' Gray.
Oh, that his Maps cover was one of my favorite things to come out this year.
Yeah, that's a great one. We've talked about Kwaku a good amount. He's one of my favorite artists in the past couple of years. Like, I could see him being
I would
gigantic.
love to see him this year with you. That would make me so happy.
I've seen him already, I think 5 times at this point, and I've just started getting into him like the past 2 years. Great. If you listen to anything, listen to his first EP. I think it just got put on like Apple and Spotify. It's called Say It Here While It's Safe.
Is that the one with the like green cover?
Yeah, he's like in a forest looking up.
That one is so good. I
think it's only 7 songs front to back. Is like, I heard it and it was probably out of anyone in the past couple of years, like the project that made me be like, holy shit. Like, he's a fantastic artist. That being said, I think this is his worst project, which I feel like there's a few other ones that I've said that about or will say that about.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it's bad. It's just like, you know what I mean?
In terms of the overall output of the artist,
same with Kendrick. It's the worst album, but it's not bad. It's just, he has Say It Here While You're Safe, his first EP, front to back amazing. Nat Love is his first like full length project. It came out last year. Really, really good. My favorite song by him is the last song on that, called The Rain That Wouldn't Save or something weird like that. So this falls a little lower than those two. It feels like the album he's been waiting to make though, where it is more experimental. Like even the Maps cover is like very out there. There's a few songs. He makes all of his beats, I'm pretty sure, for the most part. It just seems like he's getting more comfortable with himself. He does have a lot of different styles. He's a very captivating artist. I think he just turned 21. He's definitely someone to watch out for. It is a good album. Like I said, I think it has his best banger so far, which is called International Business Trip.
Yep.
Also, December 25th is my other song off there,
which we're going to have to play on Monday.
Yeah, exactly. That one hits me close with some feels. But yeah, still a very good album. He's like definitely an artist I'm championing, and I feel like he's going to do big things. I could see him being like Chance eventually.
Absolutely.
Like, he's got that very unique sound. He's young. He's doing exciting shit. His show has gotten so much better for live performances since the last couple times I've seen him. Yeah. But yeah, definitely check it out. Listen to his old shit. We both agree he's someone to watch out for. He's definitely someone to keep an eye on.
You heard it from the dads, Kwaku Collins in 2018. Coming in at number 5 on my list is SZA's debut album, which was cooking at Top Dog Entertainment for a while, from what I understand.
Yeah, Top Dog, you are terrible at putting things out.
Well, no, from what I hear, he actually put the album out without pretty much asking her, because he was like, okay, it's done. We got to put it out. And she's like, no, I want to keep working on it.
Well, they are
like,
really,
nope.
really bad at promotion. For
They're
having
such
having
a
that
roster. Yeah.
I don't know what they're doing. They just put out they put out the Kendrick video and one of her videos in the middle of the night last night on the same day. Competing against each other.
Why would
two
you do
artists
that?
And like, I don't know what he's doing. You have so much shit. Fucking promote Isaiah Rashad way more, because holy.
Well, that's one of the things. My favorite song off of this project was "Little Birds" with Isaiah Rashad. Fantastic song. I didn't even realize how good that song was until I re-listened to it earlier this week. Oh my god!
I don't want collabs based off of pretty much this year, but if you listen to Isaiah Rashad Sylvia demo, she's on a ton of the songs.
If we could get those two together, oh my god,
it would be. That's what I want.
That's better than Big Sean and Jhené Aiko, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The 2088 or whatever.
Childish Gambino and Jhené Aiko, however you say it, is a better.
Oh yeah, and we're gonna get into Jhené a little bit here. But just to keep it short and brief with her, I felt like this was a fantastic debut album. It's very hard to have a young woman competing in the R&B and rap world, just because there is still a lot of misogyny within the industry that we obviously don't agree with. But some of the female artists out here are actually some of my favorite ones performing right now, and SZA is no exception. She has a beautiful silky voice. The song Broken Clocks, during the chorus she goes like, all I got is these broken clocks, and she just sings it so passionately. She's like, there's still love. It's like she's one of those artists that paints a picture and you feel her pain and her love through it, you know?
And I think it even speaks higher when, as you know, us as men in our 20s can
listen to this.
I think that's what always is difficult for female artists to break out in R&B or rap. It's
because it's
this is your fan base. This is your rap fan base.
Dudes,
believe it or not,
just dudes,
mainly white dudes.
Yeah,
and you can't. And I also love with her, like how much she's willing to put out there. She's got that song like about being like cheated on and the guy fucking other bitches with Travis Scott. That was my favorite song off the project.
Was that called Love Galore?
Yes, Love Galore.
Yeah, Love Galore was good. And then the one she did with Kendrick Lamar about pussy, that one was
raunchy.
That was raunchy,
That's
but
what
it
I
was
mean.
good. The collaborations are one of the best parts of the album, because some of the songs like fall flat, but there's some where you're like, wow, this is good. To me, like I said, the best one was Little Birds with Isaiah Rashad. You cannot top that. Please, someone out there, if Top Dog is listening, get Isaiah and SZA to do an album together, because it would be the most beautiful baby. Like my baby making music playlist would just be that album. That's
if you make that album, I'll have a kid now.
I will only have kids if Isaiah Rashad and SZA put out the album.
You heard it here first.
You heard it here first. I will not have children until I get a SZA Isaiah project, and only then will I have children. And every time I listen to that album, a child will be made. But yes, so definitely check out SZA. Came in at number 5 with a hot 7.3. Top tracks would be Little Birds, Broken Clocks, and Love Galore would be my favorite ones to check out.
Nice. Coming in at 4 for me is Khalid, American Teen, at a 7.4. This for me came out of nowhere.
And it was so good.
Woo! I found locations on SoundCloud when it was like maybe 100,000, and I was like, God, I hope someone's gonna do something with this kid. And then it really fucking did. Like, this is an album that I like shouldn't even relate to. This is very much about
that's my only
high
critique
school.
of it, is that I can't relate to it at all.
And I feel like it's like a remembrance album for me.
It is,
like we say, when it might not be where your life is at now, but I can think back
it
and be
put
like,
me in that place, like fresh out of high school, like even like last semester of senior year,
figuring out your life. Like, if this was an album that came out when I was like a senior, like this would have been
album of the year for me. Yeah,
and that's what I mean. And it's so good. Like I got this on vinyl. Like, I think it's very, very great.
It's very good.
And that's what I mean. It's obviously a great album, because I'm not young, dumb,
a fucking teenager.
You know what I mean? I'm not all these things.
But it's like, this guy, he makes music that's so relatable in the sense that he sings about what you felt at that time in your life, and it transcends that whole like, oh well, this is what the kids are listening to.
That's why he's so big, because he got that.
Well, and what I'm excited for most is that he's blowing up right now, but it's like, what's he gonna be like when he gets some more life experience under his belt? You know, there's gonna be some beautiful albums,
some Blonde-esque music from him once
I want
to
to say
some more years under his
very
belt.
Frank Ocean-esque. One could almost compare him to like like, because he has a fantastic singing voice.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I don't want to say it's like it's not like an American Idol quality voice,
Yeah.
but like in terms of singing about like heartbreak and stuff, like that's Adele quality level stuff to me, you know, because
Yeah.
I love Adele personally. I think she has a fantastic voice. I love her music, and it's like what she sings about is heartbreak that she went through, but you can relate to it in the same way. You know, Khaled's album was about being a teenager, figuring your life out for the very first time, having all this expectation put on you, and dealing with it with the way that kids deal with it today.
Yep.
You know, so it's like it made my honorable mentions because it was something where I was like, well, this is really good and I love it, but I just couldn't relate to it at all. But I appreciate it for what it was. And if I was like 18, 19, 20 right now, this is all I'd be listening to.
Yeah, my favorite song's Location is still incredible. Let's Go is like such a upbeat, fun, like I love that song. But I think my favorite might be Saved, the one talking about like I'll keep your number saved.
Mm-hmm.
Like that shit like really hits spots.
Yeah.
Like I'll keep your number saved in case we can work this out, and that shit is beautiful. So yeah, definitely it's not the most relatable project, but he's got a beautiful voice. It definitely takes you back, and you can still find things in it. Like a great album, a 7.4 in my opinion.
Yeah. Coming in at number 4 for me is Jhené Aiko's Trip album, which was kind of a surprise one. Came out about a month or two ago. Very long project. It's actually a double CD, and it's about her. It's about her experiences with psychedelics, so like mushrooms, acid, stuff like that.
I did not listen to this, but I do like her.
It
She's got
is
a lot of like. She's got a nice voice.
I've
like,
always really appreciated everything she does. I love the features she's done with like Big Sean. Post to Be with Omarion is one of those
that,
good party songs, you know.
Bed Piece with Childish Gambino.
Oh yeah, talk about
That's
a sexier song.
Oh, that's such a nice like you're just chilling on the couch on a Sunday.
Oh
like,
yeah, oh yeah, oh
yeah.
oh, yeah.
God, that's good.
Wake up, man.
Yeah, there's so many parts of that.
It's
are like,
so
that's
good.
That's the relationship you should be looking for.
The first time I listened to this album, I listened to it on my TV speakers turned up really, really loud, and I was hacking a bunch of fire sticks for people, and I
part of the Dapper Dads merch, hacked fires.
buy a hacked fire stick for $35. But it's very long. It has a lot of interludes and stuff like that. So it was almost hard to rate in a way because a lot of the tracks are filler, and then some of the tracks are freestyles as well. And so it's hard to rate those as like part of an album, you know, because it's like beats that people brought her and she just freestyled over, and she felt they were good enough to include on the album because it's when she was tripping, she was doing the freestyles. So in a way, it's like I almost artistically appreciate that enough to be like, yeah, this is good enough as a song. But then like some of the freestyles are weaker than the others.
Yeah, it's an interesting
and there's like skits, but it's got some great features in there. It's got Big Sean.
Of course, she got a fucking Big Sean tattoo.
Because she loves Big Sean.
He's got a huge dick.
Yeah, huge dick apparently.
Dick.
Yeah, so apparently you can be a
big dick.
I mean, if you're a mediocre
Scary
rapper,
big dick.
Scary Big Dick,
That's
episode 21.
That's my new name for the podcast.
Scary Big Dick.
Hey, it's the Dapper Dads with Slim and Scary Big Dick.
Do you have to say it like that every time?
I think so.
Scary Big Dick.
Scary Big Dick. Just wait till we get a couple Applebee's $1 Long Islands in us, and my dick gets scary and big.
Oh, God, that was awful.
Yep.
But no, so overall as an album, it ranked very, very high just because, you know, her voice is fantastic. The production is great. Overall, I fuck with the concept of the album very much.
Yeah.
Just because I've fucked around with my fair share of psychedelics, and so listening to the album, it's like I can relate to a lot of these experiences. She has a song called Overstimulated, which I listened to and I was like, yeah, I've definitely been here before. It made me think of when I was at the bathroom at Prairie Street Brew House, because they're like, don't look in the mirror, and I looked in the mirror while I was washing my hands and I was like, oh no. I was like, oh god, I'm fucked. But no, so overall it came in very, very strong this year. I was surprised at the ranking it got, but as I was listening back to it again, I was like, god, it takes you about an hour and a half to listen to the whole thing, but when you do, you're like, yeah, this is definitely worth it. It's really fantastic. So definitely give her a check out. It's you know what, a lot of female artists on this list. Actually, the past two and then the next two albums are all female artists. So a lot of good female stuff coming out this year.
You're a feminist.
I am a
that
feminist.
That officially makes you a feminist. 5 out of 10?
I'm fine.
5 out of 10 feminists.
Bro, I've been a feminist since 91. Don't even start with me.
All right, coming in at number 3 is someone I'm also very excited about. Busu. Album is Family. It got a 7.87.
Very
I
good.
forgot about this.
Yeah, Busu was another one of those ones that wasn't talked about enough this year.
No, I don't think people know who he is. He is from Sweden. He is a young Swedish rapper. I don't know anything that sounds like what he's doing.
No, it's very all over the place. It's very eclectic, but it flows very, very well. I only listened to this about once or twice, so I wasn't able to give it a good score.
Yeah.
But when I listened to it, I loved every single second of it.
I forgot about it, and then I was like, wait, did that come out this year? When I was compiling this list, and I listened back, and it came in third. it definitely he's got like a whole like Euro sound on some of the songs, like kind of like techno-y, but not like ridiculous,
not overdone.
yeah, but he comes from a group that does a lot of techno music, but he is like, he says like, I'm a rapper, I'm the rap part of this group. It's called Euro Gang, I believe. A lot of like beautiful kind of like acoustic sounding shit.
Yeah.
My two favorite songs is 116 R.I.P. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that different. And then I've Been Coughing Up Blood, which was the first song I found by him, and I was just floored by it. Like, it's very like chill, and like he's got a very distinct voice. Obviously, he's from Sweden, so it doesn't sound like anything else. Those two songs are incredible. Curse on You and The Click You Claim is another song. It's just like, I really don't even have a comparison because there's nothing else that sounds like
it's
it.
Just
but
so
even
unique,
some of the lines in 116 R.I.P. and I've Been Coughing Up Blood is just like so fucking beautiful. I literally have nothing to say. It's a short project, which comes into play for my next one as well. And like I said, making shorter projects this era we're in is singles and like EPs. I'd say albums aren't working out great anymore.
Right, yeah, because they're overstuffing them. They're making them too long.
Yeah, and the only ones that really stand out are ones that aren't oversaturated. So your number 3?
My number 3 is an artist called St. Vincent with her album Mass Education that came out this year. Fantastic album cover. It's just her ass. It's just her bending over with her ass showing.
I seen it.
I seen it.
That's what it sounds like when I jerk off for some reason. Yeah, yours sounds normal. Mine is heavy.
Mine's very fast.
At the end?
The whole time.
I pre the whole thing.
I'll pre the whole.
All right, gross. That's your number 3. My number 3 is Slim making jerk off sounds. Really captivating. Didn't think I was going to get that level of quality this year. And I mean, an hour and a half is long, but
you mastered the whole project.
Oh yeah, I
produced it. No, St. Vincent is an artist I've always loved. I really got into her back when her self-titled album came out around 2007. To me, she's always been equatable to a female David Byrne in the sense that she has been very rock and roll her entire project. She got started off in a band called the Polyphonic Spree, if you've ever listened to them. They had a song that was very popular in the mid to early 2000s where it's like, light and day, just follow the sun and reach for the... Did you remember that one?
Vaguely.
It was on familiar. Scrubs, so like if you ever watch...
It makes me happy. So.
Yeah, there was like 32 people in the band, and they all did like nothing. It was like Brockhampton, but way worse. Brockhampton, if they had no talent. Brockhampton, if they were Odd Future. Ooh,
oh, fuck.
Shots
We're gonna
fired.
Have to edit that out.
We're gonna have left brain coming at us.
At least he'll do something.
Yeah, something for once.
We're saying too much.
We are. We're sorry, Odd Future. We love you. But no, she's always been an artist who reinvents herself with every album. She's always been just phenomenal. Each output has been better than the last. She cannot top her self-titled album, in my opinion, which came out around 2011 or 12. Just fantastic songs on there. She really has this masterful sound. It's very 80s influence, lots of synthesizers, while remaining experimental in rock and roll. On Mass Education, it's an album that was very different for her. It was very bold, very loud sounding, and very brash. I don't want to say there was anger behind it, but there was a lot of intensity to it. If you watch the video for the track Los Angeles, which is my favorite song on the whole album, there's a lot of CGI going on. It's very dark. She's very serious the whole time. But not dark in the way that you're thinking. Like, there's a lot of neon going on, a lot of just strange CGI and colors. But she just has a very sultry seriousness to her. Like, almost when you're, like, you know, when you go to the zoo and you see, the tiger walk down and you see, like, the muscles, like, rippling, but it's, like, very calm and very there. That's just what I get.
This is such an insane description.
Well, that's how I feel when I listen to her. It's like, and when you watch her, she's just this very tall, thin woman with crazy hair playing guitar. But it's like watching a tiger where you know it has so much power behind it, but it's moving so very gracefully that it's just an awe-inspiring thing to see. And that's how I feel about a lot of her music, is that there's so much it's like a rocket about to take off. It's like there's so much energy there that she can just push in and make you feel things. Like, she's screaming nonsense at one point in the song. She is playing a guitar riff through a broken amplifier, so it's like and it's very chunky, and she's screaming. She's like, oh Lord, I can see it now. And you're like, wow. It's a very powerful, moving sound that she creates. that really just can't be equaled by anything else. And so as I was listening to it, I was like, wow, this is powerful. Wow, this is powerful. This is good. And I'm giving these songs all really, really high ratings. And that's why it came in at number 3 on my list, because it's a project from an artist who I've loved deeply for a very, very long time. I've always really respected, and I've just loved everything they've ever done. And this album is no exception. It's different from anything she's ever done. It's heavy. It's fast. I could definitely recommend checking it out. St. Vincent, Mass Education.
Beautiful. Coming in at number 2, this album was technically released last year officially, but it was re-released and remastered with an additional song. So I'm going to count it this year because it's so fucking good.
It's so fucking good.
It is Pew Pew Pew. The album is +1. It got an 8 out of 10. This shit, like, I found them last year when the original, it was just self-titled when it came out last year. Like I said, they added one song, and it came out on Side One Dummy this year, who has, Side One Dummy has a good roster.
Fantastic
Jeff
roster.
Rosenstock, Pup, Pew Pew Pew, those 3 alone, fucking phenomenal.
That's enough for a perfect record label.
Yeah. So I found a song last year called Before We Go Out Drinking. This band, it's technically like a punk band, but not like, I have issues with like punk and pop punk and trying to like find exactly where I would label things.
Drawn, yeah.
When I listen to punk music, it was always like hardcore punk, I guess is what people would say. So when I say punk bands, this isn't what comes to mind. This is very melodic. This has some of the sweetest guitar licks I've heard on anything in a long time. And if I made a band, this would be the band I make. The songs are literally, they're kind of, little repetitive, very simple songs. The first one is Blood Clot. It's about getting a blood clot when you're skating and fucking yourself up.
Yeah.
And there's so much good shit about this album. It's ridiculous.
So good.
Another great song, Asshole Pandemic. It is a song about they all live in an apartment together, or they practice in an apartment together, and it's the different tenants of the apartment building coming to their door and complaining about the noise. So like the main chorus is just, this is a building, this is a building, this is a building, I can hear you from 2 floors down. So it's like very repetitive with that. And then at one point it's like, it's too loud for 6 at night, it's too loud for 6 at night, me and my wife are trying to fight. And then it's just them like, asshole pandemic, why is this fucking dick gotta be such a cock? Yeah. And it's just all the people complaining about being noisy. It's
fast, it's punky, it's unapologetic. Beautiful.
And then the following song is called Prequel to Asshole Pandemic, where it's them talking about the idea of starting a band in their apartment and not caring how loud they are and who comes to the door.
And that's just such a beautiful thing,
inside of itself. Another song is Mid-20s Skateboarder. It's just talking about
love that one.
Being too old and shouldn't be skating anymore and like dying because of it. One of my favorite songs is Glory Days.
Yep.
The chorus is if those were your glory days, I'm glad I wasn't around, because if those were your glory days, you must be real shitty now. And it's just like all of the songs are very like anthems, like very sing along, like chanting, great shit. That song is like, there's such little things like DUIs, small town racists. And then the one part is like, you got a Fox Racing tattoo. And another line is like, you got married straight out of high school, the prettiest girl, but she never loved you. She gained 100 pounds and so did you. Your friends are dead or got bad drug habits. Please don't have any kids. We don't need more of you. Like, it's so fucking great. There's one song called Let's Order a Pizza. Literally the only words are, let's order a pizza. I gotta eat something before I throw up. And then the other part is, not calling, called it. Not calling, called it, because I ordered last time. Those are the only 2 parts of that song.
Yeah.
And it's fucking incredible. So good. It's so like, I can't wait to see them, because it's just going to be like so much sing-along shit. The Before We Go Out Drinking, the reason I found them.
Before we go out drinking. Oh,
the chorus is, we are getting drunk before we go out drinking. And I found that last year, and that was for some reason the only song I paid attention to, and that we would be down here, like me and Matt the God and others, and I'd be like, we got to play this, because we're just sitting here playing like Cards of Death, getting fucked up just to go out drinking.
I mean, it can definitely...
I was like, that is my theme song.
It can definitely be played before we go out today.
Yeah, I forgot the custom cards I made for that. But yeah, it's like I said, it's so fun. It's like it's very simple. It's literally like pizza, drinking, football. They have a bio they were like, we asked for a bio from them, and this is what they sent. It is just a description of the day that they were asked for the bio. So it's like we all got together, we each drank like a 6-pack, we went to skate. So-and-so hit his head. We thought he might have to go to the hospital, but we didn't. So then we went back home. We kept drinking, and we all passed out. That's their fucking bio, because they were like, hey, we need a bio from you guys. And they were like, this is what happened today. And then they gave it to them. I cannot, like, rave about this album enough. 22 minutes long.
Yeah,
it's like,
and it's perfect.
10 songs,
They'll
maybe?
probably play the whole album during their set list.
I don't even know. Like, that's still a short set. So I'm very excited to see them.
It's going to be good.
This is like band wise, because a lot of my shit is rap. This is band of the year for me. Like, I am a fanatic about them right now. I cannot rave enough. Pew Pew Pew. It's spelled PKEW three times. It's hard to spell. Pew Pew Pew. Gunshots in parentheses. +1.
Yep.
Fantastic.
So good. My number 2 album of the year, which actually outranked my number 1, but we will get into it. Because number 1 is a little bit complicated.
Yeah, there's a lot of
this album
parts.
came in at a solid 9 out of 10 for me. Now, that is because there's only 5 songs on the album, but they're longer songs. And so for me, you have to listen to longer songs and be like, okay, you have to give them a very fair rating, because it's like there's so many different parts to them, you know?
Yeah.
Now, this artist is called Pharmacon, and the album is called Contact. She creates music that I can only describe as nightmare music, because it is very loud, industrial. It is very screamy. I would love to throw some on a playlist to like for the Dapper Dad set list, but like it would just not fit in anywhere. This is one of those bands that like I listen to by myself with my headphones on, or when I'm alone, because like nobody else, it's just a bunch of bullshit no one else is going to want to listen to, you know? But to me, she is a fantastic artist. What sells me so much on her is she had an album she wrote after she underwent a major medical issue, and they had to operate on her, and she suddenly realized that like she's made out of meat and bones and like flesh and blood. And that album really resonated with me, because I had a very similar experience, and it was like, wow, listening to this person just like scream over these nightmarish beats that have been created about like how they are, you know, they are flesh and they're gonna die and they're gonna rot away someday, but they're alive now, and why like it's insane to listen to. You have to listen to the whole thing all the way through. You can't just like, oh, let's listen to this track, because they seem to bleed into one another. Just very good. Just very, very good. Each song got a 9 out of 10 for me, because it's like, it just creates, much like the Fever Ray album that I was going on about, it just creates such a soundscape that it's inescapable once you start listening to it. It feels claustrophobic and tight and angry. But like you get through it and it's almost like a breath of relief. It's like, wow. And then the next one starts and it's just the same pounding thing again. And for me, that's what I appreciate about it so much, is its extremity, because of how just dark and extreme this sounds. It's very much, it sounds like a nightmare is the only way I can describe it, but it's so just, it just does so much to you when you listen to it. It's.
I feel like we both feel very passionately about our top two.
It's very hard to describe, because it's not something where I can, like with Pew Pew Pew, it's like, oh, here's a pop punk band. Me, I'm like, here's 5 songs of nightmare music for 25 minutes. Listen to this.
4
like,
inches of vivid nightmare.
Yeah, 4 inches of vivid nightmare soup on the top of my fucking brain. It's very dark. I can't even begin to describe it too much without repeating myself, because it's very simplistic in its description, but there is so much going on when you listen to it. So Pharmacon Contact, the album is her face surrounded by a bunch of hands grabbing and pulling at her face. So again, a very interesting, jarring album cover from a female artist this year. It's God, it's just so good. It's someone who I would love to go see live with you, just because I know you wouldn't really appreciate the music, but I've seen videos of her live, and the experience of it is insanity. Like, one of the things she does, I've seen Death Grips do this before. They take like a weather balloon and glue the drum pads to it, and that's where she gets some of her drum sound from. One time I saw her take her microphone and wrap it up in tinfoil and like crunch the tinfoil while she was screaming into it and like banging on this drum while just like smashing a synthesizer with her fist and like making all this noise happen. It's a chaotic nightmare when you see it, but it is
an experience.
It's an experience, and for me, that's what makes the music so good, is that it's such an experience that you take so much away from it. You figure out things about yourself while listening to it, because one of the principles of Buddhism that's always been taught with meditation is that there's meditation through peace and there's meditation through extreme action. And that's why you have like bad Buddhists in southern China who are going around beheading people because they think the path to nirvana is through extreme violence. Myself, I see nirvana through extreme action. And it's like, you know, that's why I listen to a lot of very intense music and like I work out a lot because it's like there's peace to be found through extremity. And it's like that's how I feel about this album, is that there is a lot of peace in the extremity.
Nice.
So Pharmacon Contact, 9 out of 10.
Beautiful. And then we managed to land on the same number 1 spot,
which is,
I don't know how. It's, you know, a little.
It was just that year.
It's just that year. We want to say it together.
All right, 1, 2, 3.
Russ, there is a wolf.
Oh my God.
It's Brockhampton Saturation.
Brockhampton Saturation Trilogy, everybody. If you didn't know, oh my God, if you thought we weren't going to get to the end of this.
We do not have enough time for this. This could be a 2-hour podcast in itself.
No, and when we go see them in February, we will be talking extensively
so you're going to
about
keep
Brockhampton.
hearing about this. They apparently are going to keep beating us over the head with so much media. The trilogy, there's technically demos, which I've been listening to right now, that came with the box set. Shout out Cole.
Is the box set out yet?
Yeah.
Where
the
can I
demos
get it?
are online. I don't know if they're still selling it. This is afterwards. We'll talk about
this.
Me and Cole sat down and watched the 2.5-hour documentary, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
I can't even get into it. I'm going to Alex Jones.
I haven't even watched it yet. We can't talk about it.
I know. You can't even describe it. It's so good. But yeah, if you don't know, Brockhampton is a fucking massive group of a bunch of kids making some of the most amazing music out there right now.
Oh, fantastic.
They released 3 albums in a year. Not even a year. The first one came out in
6
June.
months. Yeah.
Yeah. So like half a year, 3 albums.
While we were making and conceptualizing the show, Brockhampton was out here putting out 3 albums.
And that's what I mean. If you are into them from us talking so much, watch the documentary because it takes it to a whole nother level. But yeah, my rating for this, I did not rate number 3 because it just came out and I don't like
I need to
things.
give it more listens because it did score low on mine.
Yeah, it is definitely my least favorite, but it needs more time. It's only been out for a week.
Yeah, so I didn't
rate that.
Boogie is an instant classic for me.
Saturation 1 got an 8.35 for me. Saturation 2 got an 8.07. Saturation 3, I'll come back to it. It's good, and we'll get into it more. We can't get to.
I know
this is a long episode already. But
what are we at right now?
I don't even know. Because we had the pre, but it's saying 210, so
Good
we're
Lord.
coming up on 2.
Okay, so for Saturation came in at an 8.4. Saturation 2 came in at an 8.7. Saturation 3 at first couple listens has come in at a 6, but I feel like with time, it will get better.
It's definitely, I feel like I said with Kwaku and Future or whoever, Kendrick, it's the worst album, but it's not bad.
Right.
3 is very all over the place. Every time I go to say it feels more poppy in moments, like more mainstream, which is a word I hate using.
Yeah.
It also feels very dark in moments. Like
Yeah.
literally every word I've like thrown out, it feels like all of them. So I feel like that's a good body of work.
To me, it's an interesting mix of both 1 and 2 in a way, because to me, 1 was...
But I feel like it branches out into other things too.
It does,
I feel like we didn't necessarily need 3.
See, I feel like we did and we didn't, because 1, we're going to get like 64 Brockhampton albums in the next 4 years.
End.
Let's be real. I think what's most interesting about it is, in a way, when you listen to it, you can hear the band grow, because you listen to 1. Because for those of you who don't know, Brockhampton are an 18-member art collective. 18. I looked up the official number. It's 18 people, only 7 rap. But what they did was they all met on a Kanye West forum.
Yeah, Kanye Tilda.
And they all met and they decided to get a house together out in California and make art together. And really, it's exactly what it sounds like. So when you listen to the first album, you can definitely tell it's, a bunch of young men with their own artistic voices putting their mark out on an album. With 2 was a bit more of a better mix of it. You had these guys who had been making music together for a little while. They were more comfortable with each other artistically. Because even with something like
this, more of the array. Because let's go. 1 to me is my favorite. I feel like 2 is a better example of like singles and more like specific songs.
Right.
Like that had a good
1
run
was a
of
better
singles.
album. 2 was a better set of songs.
Yeah. 1 just has like Tupac is one of my favorite songs.
Yeah.
Milk is like one of my favorite songs.
Swim. Cash is one of my favorite songs.
I love Cash. Swim and Face.
Oh God, Face
are
is so
beautiful and like unbelieving. And like I had heard about them online. It's Kevin Abstract and his group. So you might have heard of Kevin Abstract before. I like his album somewhat. He has really good shit. And then all these other kids. And I seen the video for Lamb, which is only on the demos. And it's like a 9-minute version of it. It's so beautiful. When I seen it, they're all like dressed in white. And it's like very like singy and chill. And I was like, I don't think I like this. So then when that first one dropped, when a bunch of other shit did too. And I was like, I'll take a listen. It starts with Heat. And it's just like boom, boom,
which is a good one to start
dreams
with.
Of crack.
Yeah,
I just coughed up something wild, which is how I feel every time I hear that song. It comes out of nowhere.
Literally, it's just so hard.
Such a hard banger. I forget what's after that. I know Star is early on, which is a crazy banger. Tupac is so beautiful. Just Amir for like 50 seconds.
I know, and that's what's so good about
that fucking song.
Same. Oh my god.
And then like
I almost wanted to call it an interlude, but I was like, this is a 10 out of 10 track. How can I even call this an interlude?
And then like Swim and Face are just so
to me. God, Cash is just the epitome of that album for me. Like
really?
That when Merlin's verse on that song is what gives me like, who delayed my first kiss? Like, man, it's God.
Yeah, no.
We could do a whole episode about Brockhampton,
really,
honest to God,
and it would also be 2 hours. It's like if you listen to one thing out of either of our top 10s, listen to Brockhampton.
If you know me in my personal life at all, you know I've been championing Brockhampton very, very hard for the last couple of months. It's no exception going into 2018, guys. Listen to the trilogy. I wouldn't say listen to it all at once because it's overwhelming when you listen to it all at once. Listen to one, listen to that for like about a week or two, and then
grow on you.
Let it grow on you, and then get into 2. Give that another couple of weeks. Give 3. Give it another couple of weeks. We haven't even had a couple of weeks with 3 yet.
No,
so
that's what I mean. Yeah, give it time. For 2, my favorite songs off that are Junkie, obviously.
Junkie, Sweet.
Yeah, Gummy is my other.
Gummy is
favorite.
so very,
I like
very
Queer
good.
A lot too.
Queer is good. What? I just got to pull up some of these albums because like I get the songs mixed up sometimes because they're all just single titles.
Yeah, with the same.
Gummy, Queer, Jello is fantastic. Jesus, I love. Junkie. Sweet Gamba, Summer is one of my all-time favorites. That is just pure Kevin Abstract. It's beautiful. It sounds like summer to me, but not in like a fun poppy way, but like in that
end of summer.
That sad end of summer. I've done all the crazy shit and it's starting to get cold out.
One of the best things is it is all over the place in a good way. They have songs where they all rap their ass off and it's hard hitting and crazy, and then they have some of the most beautiful music I have heard in a long time.
And it's so beautiful,
so soulful,
so beautiful.
Meaningful and purposeful and just
and then you get shit like la da 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 da. Don't care if I live or die.
Don't call me stupid, that ain't the way my name pronounced. Don't call me Cupid, I got too many hoes right now. Yeah, and then off of 3, my favorites so far, like I said, not to jump the gun on it because it's only been out a week. Johnny is incredible.
Johnny is so good.
Stains is just
it's nice. Beautiful. I was listening to Stains on the way over. Breach is good.
I've been stuck on Stains.
I know you hate it, but I love Boogie so much.
It's growing on me more. It was just
it's so loud, and I'm not going to say it's not loud, but it's like I said earlier, I like music where there's a lot going on, and so
there's a lot going
and it's like you said right away, you were like, yeah, Slim's going to love this. This is going to be like when we see that live, if they don't do Boogie, I'm going to be highly upset.
Boogie. Yeah, there's so much music from them. If you incorporate the demos,
and even their first album too, their first one that came out last year. Did you listen to that at all?
Of All American Trash?
Yes.
I don't like that.
See, I haven't listened to All American Trash yet.
So much better is to me that project is not very good.
I haven't listened to All American Trash yet, so you'll have to give me the chance to do that. But the Saturation trilogy was the best thing I've heard all year, and simply for the reason that we talked about it so much. And it came up so much in my social circle. And with everything else that I was listening to this year, the last half of this year was definitively different from the first half for me.
Yeah.
And the soundtrack of the last half of this year could be the Brockhampton Saturation trilogy because it's like, because we had like, at least
well, that's when we sat down to talk about the podcast.
Was when Saturation 1 had just
come out. I told you, had you heard of them and you hadn't, I gave you that, and I gave you Worry by Jeff Rosenstock.
Yep.
And I think both of those are phenomenal albums.
And they're things that led us into this. So it's like Brockhampton has
literally
soundtrack.
I told everybody about Brockhampton. And now I feel like everyone I told is
everyone
like,
listens to
holy
it.
Shit.
Well, it's like, and it's and in a way, it's almost symbolic because it's like I started getting into Brockhampton when we started doing the podcast. So in a way, Brockhampton has been the soundtrack to this podcast as well. Because
we've talked about him constantly.
Well, how often have we been down here just listening to Brockhampton songs or watching videos or just hanging out talking about them? It's like they have been such a presence in our lives that it's like it's almost hard not to say like artists of the year, projects of the year, everything like that.
Definitely, and like. Saturation is a perfect title for it because there is so much shit. Like,
And
they
you need to
definitely went
saturate
from,
yourself
I
with
feel
it.
like, being unknown to where now they're getting cosigns from Mac Miller, Anderson .Paak. Fucking, you hear a lot
Everyone
of people
wants
talking
something
about
to do
them.
with
They're
Brockhampton
on
now.
albums of the year. Like, that's a way to get it out there. They made 3 albums in a couple of months that are all great albums. Like, 1 and 2 are phenomenal. 3, I know, will grow on me. It is good. It's just the least out of all of them.
Yeah.
Which 3 albums in a year from a
That's
group
a lot
of
to take in.
kids. And watch the documentary. Like, their work ethic is, I've never seen
insanity.
anything like it. Like, at all. It's nonstop. Like, people are sleeping, people are working. They had 300 hours of footage for this documentary, and it turned out to be 2.5 hours, which sounds like a monumental task to take on. It was incredible from the beginning to the end.
It's on my. I'm gonna watch it probably either on Christmas or in the time after Christmas because hours start getting cut at work. So I'm gonna have a lot of free time to get back into more projects.
I would
and stuff
watch
like
it
that.
again, and it's long as fuck. But yeah, I mean, we could go on forever about this. We're gonna go see them, so we'll have some reviews of that. But definitely, if nothing else, check out Brockhampton. They are
just the whole Saturation trilogy.
It's just a
we
beautiful
cannot
thing.
speak highly enough of it.
Yeah, like a group of kids making just unbelievable art. Beautiful. So that's our top 10. This bitch is long. You want to shoot off some really rapid fire honorable mentions?
Okay, really rapid fire.
I got my honorable mention.
Just go ahead and go through your whole thing.
I don't have a ton. Uzi was on my honorable. We got into that. Young Pinch, who I talked about on the Songs of the Year, his mixtape is called 714 Ever. So it's the area code 714 Ever. Really good mixtape. I think I need to revisit it. Very like melodic, fun shit. Feels like summer. Definitely check that out. Remo Drive, the album is called Greatest Hits. It's not their greatest hits. It's their first album. I love that. They have the song You're Killing Me, which is on the top songs of the year. The album is it has like some really lows and like one song, I can't tell when it's ending because they like literally let it end and then and it's just kind of messy, but there are some really good songs on that. Basically, every collab was wildly underwhelming. ASAP Mob has its points, but was pretty bad.
Super slimy.
Super slimy.
Moments, but it was bad.
Paddock
Without
Water
Warning.
And Killed Before. Killed Before is a fucking amazing Thug song. Rest of it sucks. Without Warning, 21 and Offset. I don't even think I have a song from that I would take away.
I have lots of songs from it that I liked, but I just didn't get into it enough. I liked it every time I listened to it, but it wasn't the best.
Yeah, we don't need more collabs.
And most of the Big Sean collabs this year, not Big Sean, Metro Boomin, the one with Nav is fucking garbage. I can't stand Nav.
We all know.
The Big Sean one, underwhelming. The one with Gucci Mane, good, but it's like with so much Gucci Mane coming out all the time, it's hard to say he's making a quality
I don't
product.
even really care for him anymore. I miss I'm proud of his life, but man, I don't know a great song of anything he's put out recently. I need the fucking everybody's looking. Lambo get the witch. Yeah, what else? That's really all I had that I could think of. I know there's other shit out there.
Honorable mentions for things to me. I'm just going to list off the artists. I'm not going to list off the album titles because we have been into this for so long.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into it. So just note artists that came out with projects this year that I enjoyed. Joey Badass, Bleachers, Sid from Odd Future had a solo project. 21 Savage's album that came out this year, honorable but not good.
Yeah,
underwhelming. Vic Mensa's project, the autobiography. The OC's Orc was fantastic. Queens of the Stone Age album was It was produced by the same guy that did Up Down Funk, Mark
I heard about
whatever.
That. Yeah,
Mark Ronson.
Mark Cuban.
Okay. LCD Sound System was back this year, and they put out a fantastic album. Just didn't really make my top. Chelsea Wolfe came out with a project she is a fantastic dark ambient artist you should check out. Marilyn Manson had an album this year that was actually very, very good in my opinion, but I'm very biased because Marilyn Manson will always be one of my favorites. Sleigh Bells, an alternative noise pop band, had a great project come out this year. All of Metro Boomin is worth checking out, even if you can just get instrumental versions of the album, because that's where the power is really at. Chief Keef had 2 projects come out this year.
Yes, Chief Keef was underrated this year.
Super underrated Chief Keef. Migos Culture came out at the beginning of the year, but I have listened to so much Migos that I cannot say it was good or bad. Big Sean technically had 2 projects this year. He had I Decided and then the Metro Boomin collab. Both underwhelming, but had their strong moments. Moves was one of my top songs of the year. Animal Collective came out with 3 different releases this year. All good, all strange.
No saturation.
No saturation at all. Thundercat came out with a new album this year that was incredible. If you can listen to it, check out Thundercat. Juju came out with an alternative rock album for them, which was very strange. Jid, a rapper, is J-I-D. So good. A band called Mansions, which is Black Bear and Mac Miller. No, not Mac Miller.
No.
What the fuck is his name? I always get him confused with the other guy. I don't fucking know. Mansions with a Z. Check him out. Mike Will Made It had several projects that came out this year. Ransom 2. He had the collaborative
That was
EP.
the Big Sean song we needed. Was whatever the fuck that was on there, where he just goes off.
He had the collaborative project with Yo Gotti that came out this year. Yo Gotti Made It, which featured 2 strong tracks, Dog and which features my favorite line. I voted for Obama, but didn't vote for Donald Trump because he said right to my plug he must go back from where he from.
Beautiful.
And then he goes, Mexicans, they my dogs, and if they build a wall, well then we gonna start a wall.
That's the activist we need.
Yeah, truly is. Fucking Yo Gotti out here in the streets. And then G-Eazy had several projects this year that I personally enjoyed. I have not listened to The Beautiful and the Damned, but his collaborative EP with Carnage was fantastic. The song Gwala Gwala with 30 Rack is an undeniable banger. The Chainsmokers debut album came out in January. Underwhelming for sure, but it did have it had several tracks that I enjoyed on there. The Chainsmokers are my guilty listening pleasure. I do enjoy them quite a bit. Flume's album came out this year, which had one of my top songs of the year, Say It, featuring Tavlo, and Playboi Carti's album, which was trash, but we got Magnolia, so thanks 2017.
That was on my underwhelming, but honorable. Yeah, I think that'll wrap it up. I was going to talk about all the shows I've seen this year, but we are definitely out of time. But it has been I really enjoyed this year. Shout out to all the people who have come to shows with me, drank with me, gotten fucked up. Shout out to you, you beautiful motherfucker.
Shout out to you,
the Dapper Dads were born.
Dapper fucking Dads.
2017. Thank you, every single person that listens, even if this is your first time tuning in.
We love you.
We don't always do this. They're not usually this hefty and concise, but yeah, thank you everyone for listening. We kind of started this not to get all emotional, but I think we thought this was just going to be kind of like a hobby, something fun. But the feedback we've gotten has been incredible.
It's becoming a brand in and of itself.
Yeah,
it's
I
beautiful.
feel like we said, we have big dreams for 2018. We have things we will give you in 2018. We have a lot of great shit. But anyone who's taken the time to listen, to review us, to send us a submission, to do anything you do, show a friend, like, we genuinely appreciate. Obviously, it's for you guys. Truly. Otherwise, we're just 2 dudes talking in the dungeon. And
which we're going to do anyway, even if nobody was doing it.
I really thought this would just be a bunch of bullshit, but for some reason people like it, and we sincerely love you and appreciate everything you've done. And yeah, 2018 is going to be great. We're gonna keep doing this until the world ends. So every Friday we're here for you. Get at us.
Every
Thank
Friday
you for all the feedback.
Every Friday until Slim has a midlife crisis and runs away to Montana without telling anybody.
That's gonna be a good episode.
It's gonna be a great episode. Just me live from the road on a CB breaker.
Oh man, your spin-off podcast that does better than this. But yeah, 21 episodes in 1 year. 21. Not even 1 year. We started consistently. But no, man, we're 21 for 17.
I am very excited to see where we will be this time next year.
Yeah, truly. We'll be fast math 73 episodes in by the end of next year.
Wow.
We will have nothing to talk about.
Oh,
this is
God.
the sweet spot.
This is terrible.
We're peaking. But yes, again,
we haven't even begun to peak.
Oh, but yes, thank you guys so much.
We love you all. We thank you guys so much.
You mean the
for
world.
Everything.
Like I said, without you guys, this is just weird. So
it's just 2 weird guys just talking shit. So thank you for being the people who listen to us every week and support us. And thank you to everyone in our personal lives who supports us and listens to us,
allows us to
encourages us. And thank you to everyone who has given us a story to tell this year. Thank you to everyone who's been shitty to us, who's been good to us, because
everything comes out here.
You have made us who we are, and it all comes out here on the air. So
yes, thank you. We can't do it without you.
We'll
see you in 2018.
See you in 2018, guys.